This is Retro Sports Radio. Visit RetroSeasons.com for more sports history.
Hi again, everyone. Gene Elston here, along with Lowell Pass, our producer Bob Boyne, and engineer Bob Green. And welcome to the final game here at Colt Stadium. We have 6 games remaining following today. All 6 will be on the road at San Francisco and Los Angeles. The starting pitchers for this afternoon's ball game for the Los Angeles Dodgers, it will be right-hander Don Drysdale. And going for our Colt 45s will be right-hander Bob Bruce. Now let's take a look at the starting lineups for this afternoon's ball game. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, leading off at shortstop, Dick Tracewski. Tracewski at short. Darrell Griffith will be in right field. Griffith in right. Willie Davis in center field. Davis in center. Tommy Davis in left field. Tommy Davis in left. John Roseboro will do the catching. Roseboro, the catcher. Ron Fairley at first base. Fairley on first. Nate Oliver at second base. Oliver at second. Bart Shirley at third base. Shirley at third. And Don Drysdale, a right-hander, will be on the mound for the Dodgers. Tracewski shortstop. Griffith right field. Willie Davis in center. Tommy Davis in left. John Roseboro, the catcher. Fairley first base. Oliver at second. Shirley at third, and Drysdale will be on the mound. For the Colt 45s, leading off in left field, Al Spangler. Spangler in left field. Joe Morgan at second base. Morgan at second. Rusty Staub in right field. Staub in right. Walt Bond at first base. Bond at first. Bob Aspromonte at third base. Aspromonte at third. Jimmy Wynn in center field. Wynn in center. Eddie Casco at shortstop. Casco at short. Jerry Grody will do the catching. Grody, the catcher. And Bob Bruce, a right-hander, will be on the mound. Spangler left field. Morgan second base. Staub right field. Bond first. Aspromonte third. Wynn center. Casco short. Grody catching. And Bruce will be on the mound. Well, inasmuch as this will be our final game at Colt Stadium, and in 1965, opening in the new Dome Stadium here in Houston, and I hope that you fans were tuned in just a few moments ago when Lowell was reminiscing with Bob Aspromonte about opening day out here on April the 10th, 1962, when the Colt 45s opened for the first time in the National League in the stadium. And, of course, the Colt 45s won that day by the score of 11-2 against the Cubs. I thought you might be interested in the starting lineups on those days, so let me run them down for you. Starting for the Cubs that day on April the 10th, 1962, Lou Brock was in center field. Ken Hubbs was at second base. Billy Williams in left field. Ernie Banks on first. George Altman in right field. Ron Santo was at third. Elder White was at shortstop. Kuno Barrigan was the catcher, and Don Cardwell did the pitching for the Cubs. Houston's starting lineup on April the 10th of 1962, Bob Aspromonte third. Al Spangler center field. Roman Mejias right field. Norm Larker first base. Jim Pendleton left field. Hal Smith was the catcher. Joey Amalfitano at second base. Don Budden at shortstop, and Bobby Shantz was the starting pitcher, and he went all the way for the Colt 45s, and Houston won the ball game 11-2. Ernie Banks had a home run for the Cubs that day. Mejias had 2 home runs, and Hal Smith had 1. The Colt 45s out-hit the Cubs on that opening day by 13-5. The Cubs, before the afternoon was over, used a total of 5 pitchers. Cardwell, as I mentioned, started. Dave Gerard was on. Barney Schultz did some pitching for the Cubs. Jack Warner, and also Al Larry. So that's a brief recap on a cloudy day in 1962, opening day, April the 10th. And this is the wrap-up out here today. We might mention also the umpires on that day. The umpire-in-chief of the plate umpire that day was Dusty Boggess. Stan Landis was at first, Vinnie Smith at second, and Mel Steiner, the umpire, at third. And this will wrap it up out here today. The final game in Colt Stadium, and there go the Colt 45s out on the field. Pitching this finale here at Colt Stadium today will be Bob Bruce. Bob taking his walk out to the mound now. He will be out after his 15th win of the year. If Bob can chalk up number 15 today, he will become the winningest pitcher in Colt 45 history for a single season, as he holds the record of 14 now, along with Dick Farrell, who won 14 last year. Now the Westbury High School Band from Houston, our national anthem. A cloudy day out here at Colt Stadium. We have had a few sprinkles of rain, but that's all. We have quite a strong wind that's blowing out to right field today, which is unusual, and it's about 10 miles an hour. 82 degrees the temperature, and the humidity stands at 70%. And here's the lead batter now for the Los Angeles Dodgers, right-handed batter Dick Tracewski to face Bob Bruce. Here's the windup by Bob, and the first pitch of the final game on the way, and it's too high for ball one. Slow curveball, 1 ball, no strikes. Tracewski is hitting 250, has 1 homer and 24 runs batted in. Joe Becker coaching on first base for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Pete Reeser down on third base. Swinging a foul by Tracewski, a tap back to the screen off the right side. Al Spangler left field, Jimmy Wynn in center, and Rusty Staub in right. Bob Aspromonte at third base, Eddie Casco at short. Joe Morgan second base, and Walt Bond on first, and Jerry Grote is the catcher. Bob Bruce, 14 wins, 9 losses on the mound for the Colt 45s. Here's the windup now, and the pitch to Tracewski, and there's a line drive left field. Spangler can't get it, base hit. So Tracewski has opened the ball game with a line single into left field. That'll bring up Darrell Griffith now, the right fielder.
Right fielder, number 26.
Griffith is hitting 279 with 4 homers and 19 runs batted in. Umpire behind the plate today is Tony Benson. Lee Wires at first. Jocko Conlon at second base, and Doug Harvey is umpiring down on third. Starting to sprinkle a little bit now. Here's the stretch and a look over to first base. Bond holding up against Tracewski. There he started to go on that one. He took it high and outside. They're watching for the bunt on that one, and both Bond and Aspromonte moved in on it. But he takes it high and outside, ball 1. Darrell Griffith, the left-handed batter. Might mention here, in case you missed the interview between Lowell and Bob Aspromonte before the game, that only 2 players are in this ball game for Houston that opened in 1962. There's a pop bunt foul back up and over the screen into the box seats, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. On opening day of 1962, Bob Aspromonte was at third, as he is out here today, and Al Spangler was in center field, and Al is playing left today. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tracewski is single to left field, and Willie Davis will be up next. Still watching for that bunt now. Aspro shaded a bit off third base. Here's the stretch by Bruce. A check on his runner at first base. There's a foul, a big swing that time. Not bunting on that one. He fouled it back up against the screen, and it's 1-2. Oh, the Braves just got another one. Not that they need it, but Joe Torre has hit a home run in the 8th inning with nobody on. That's 14-4 now. 14-4. Milwaukee leading in the top of the 8th, and the Braves are still batting. That is 5 pitchers now that Mock has used today. Jack Bolshin into the 8th inning. Here's the 1-2 stretch by Bob Bruce. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. So Darrell Griffith goes down swinging, and there's one out here in the first, and that will bring up the center fielder, Willie Davis. That's the 130th strikeout for Bruce this year. He leads the club in that department. And now here's Willie Davis batting .295. He bats left, 12 homers, and 73 runs batted in. One out, and Trzaskowski, who singled the left field, is on first base. Here's the stretch by Bob, and a check on his runner over there. Pitch on the way to Willie Davis, and a big swing at that one, and he missed it, and a strike one. One strike. Bruce's first victory over Los Angeles this year was a score of 2-1, and his other victory also was a one-runner when he shut out the Dodgers by a score of 1-0. So both of Bob's wins have been real tight ball games. One strike to count on Willie Davis. Here's the stretch again by Bruce. There's a high pop off the left side, right in fair territory. Aspromonte down the line, halfway to third, 2 down. Willie Davis pops up to third base, 2 away. Here's the left fielder, Tommy Davis. He had a real good night out here in the first night of the series on Friday night. 2 outs, Trzaskowski on first base. This is by far the best year that Bruce has ever had in the major leagues. His previous high win total was in '62, his first year with Houston, when he won 10 and lost 9. Bruce has defeated every club in the National League this year at least once, except St. Louis. Here's Tommy Davis hitting .275. He bats right-handed. Trzaskowski on first, started to go and then held up. Ground ball to the shortstop, Eddie Casco. Eddie goes on to second base to Morgan to retire the side. Well, that's it for the Dodgers in the top of the first as Trzaskowski is forced short to second base. No runs and 1 hit. There were no errors. 1 man left on. Top of the first inning, the Los Angeles Dodgers nothing, and the Colt 45s are coming to bat.
Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Fine tobacco at its best. The taste that millions like. Great Taste was born the day they made this famous Lucky blend. And it's a fact, each Lucky's packed with fine tobacco end to end. Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
What makes Lucky Strike so popular with people who smoke for taste? The answer's simple. Lucky's bring you the great taste of fine tobacco at its best. That's because Lucky's are blended with fine tobacco. Fine tobacco from one end of that cigarette to the other. If you're a smoker and you smoke for taste, remember, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and that means great taste. So taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Why not buy a carton? Right-hander Don Drysdale up for the Dodgers here this afternoon. He'll be looking at Al Spangler, Joe Morgan, and Rusty Staub in the bottom half of the first. Drysdale is 18 victories this year against 15 defeats. Here's Spangler batting left-handed. He's hitting .248. Al has hit 4 homers and has driven in 36 runs so far. Still getting a light sprinkle out here as we start the bottom of the first. Drysdale, a big fella. He stands 6'6", weighs 210 pounds. Don is 28 years old. Here's the windup now, and the first pitch on the way to Spangler. There's a strike on the outside corner of the bell to strike 1. Joe Morgan will be up next. 1 hit in the ball game, top of the first inning by the shortstop, Dick Trzaskowski. Here's the pitch on the way again now, and Al takes it low and outside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike, 1-1 count. Drysdale has defeated Houston twice this year and has lost once. And his lifetime record against the Colt 45s is 5 wins, 4 losses. 1 ball, 1 strike on Spangler. Joe Morgan will be up next. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to third. Bart Shirley has it. Quick throw to first, low, and fairly dug it out. And Spangler is out at first base, third to first. That'll bring up Joe Morgan now with 1 down. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment here for the Dodgers today. Tommy Davis is in left, Willie Davis in center, and Darrell Griffith is in right field. Bart Shirley at third, Dick Trzaskowski at shortstop, Nate Oliver second base, and Ron Fairley on first with John Roseborough the catcher. Jim Busby coaching at third for Houston. And Sam Adair's coaching at first. Here's the windup, and the pitch on the way now by Drysdale. There's a ball that's in too high to Morgan, ball one. Joe is hitting 0-56, little left-handed batter. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the windup now, the next pitch into Morgan, and he takes it just a little bit too high for ball 2. It's 2-0. Drysdale holds 1 shutout over Houston this year, winning by a score of 6-0. And his other victory over the Colt 45s was by a score of 5-2. Here's the 2-0 windup into Morgan, and Joe laces one to the second baseman. A 1-hopper to Nate Oliver, and on to Fairley, 2 down. So the first 2 Houston batters have bounced out. Spangler and Morgan, and now here's Rusty Staub. The one game that Bruce has lost, or rather that Drysdale has lost to Houston this year, was the night that Bruce shut out Los Angeles 1-0, and Drysdale was the losing pitcher that night. Here's Rusty hitting 202 with 6 homers and 32 runs batted in. And the windup now on the first pitch to Rusty. When Rusty pops it up in the infield, that's a real high one off the first base side. And Ron Fairley calling for it now on the edge of the infield grass, and that retires the side. 3 up and 3 down for Houston first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. And at the end of 1 inning of play here at Colt Stadium this afternoon, Los Angeles nothing and Houston nothing. Say, all you cigarette smokers, have you ever tasted fine tobacco at its best? Well, you have if you've ever smoked a Lucky Strike. You see, every Lucky is blended with fine tobacco from one end of that cigarette to the other. You know what LSMFT stands for. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Well, that means great taste, so why not do this? Taste fine tobacco at its best. Just look for the pack with the big red bullseye. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Fine tobacco at its best. The taste that millions like. Great taste was born the day they made this famous Lucky blend. And it's a fact, each Lucky's packed with fine tobacco end to end. Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Now we're moving on to the first half of the second inning now, and the lead batter will be John Roseboro for the Dodgers. Ron Fairley and Nate Oliver will follow. No score. Roseboro is a left-handed batter. He's hitting 284, 3 homers and 42 runs batted in. 1 hit off Bruce, a lead single by Trzaskowski in the first inning. Roseboro goes for that slow pitch and pops it up into the seats off the left side. Strike 1. That one almost went through an umbrella. 1 strike. Ron Fairley will bat next, top of the second. Outfield is, well, Wynn is straight away in center. Staub is pulling Roseboro in right, though. Curveball low inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 count. Bruce has pitched 190 innings, allowed 186 hits, and Bob's ERA is 2.89 as he starts today, making his 29th start of the year. Here's the pitch. Roseboro hits a long foul to right field. Ooh, he got a hold of that one. Way off the end of the stands down the right field line. Foul ball, 1-2. Bruce, in his 28 previous starts, has gone the distance 8 times, and his 8 complete games is high on our staff. Here's the 1-2 windup now, and the pitch on the way to Roseboro. There's a ball outside. Ball 2, strike 2. One of the reasons for Bob's good year, we have mentioned before, is the fact that his control has been excellent. He has given up only 31 walks in 191 innings this year. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Roseboro now. There's a fly ball right field. It's deep, and Staub is over for it on the run. He's going to get it. Makes the catch on it in deep right center field, 1 down. So Roseboro drives one to deep right center, taken by Rusty Staub. And here's Ron Fairley, the first baseman. Fairley is hitting 257, left-handed batter also, with 10 homers and 72 runs batted in. 1 out, nobody on base. Nothing for Los Angeles, nothing for Houston. Here's the windup by Bruce and the pitch on the way now, and Fairley takes a strike around the knees. Well, let's check these scores now. I want to keep you posted all afternoon on them because, as most of you know, they're very important. Braves are still way out in front of Philadelphia in their ball game today, low inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Milwaukee 14, Philadelphia 4 now, with the Phillies batting in the bottom half of the 8th. Tony Cloninger was the starting pitcher for the Braves. He was taken out in the 8th inning, has just been removed, incidentally, ball inside. And Jim Bunning started for Philadelphia, but was knocked out in the 4th. Joe Torre has homered for the Braves in the 8th with nobody on. John Callison has homered twice, and he has just picked up the 5th run for Philadelphia with an 8th inning home run. Swing and a foul ball. Ball 2, strike 2 on Fairley. So that is now Milwaukee 14 and Philadelphia 5, with the Phillies still batting in the bottom of the 8th. Ball 2 and strike 2 on Fairley. 1 out, nobody on base. Nate Oliver will bat next for the Dodgers here now in the top of the 2nd inning. Bruce goes into his windup, and the pitch on the way to Fairley. He just about got him on that one. He checked just in time. High inside pitch, but he almost went for it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cincinnati beat New York for their 8th win in a row in the first game of their doubleheader, 4-1. Jim O'Toole won his 17th game, and Tracy Stollard was the loser. He's the first Major League pitcher to lose 20 this year. Foul ball up in the seats off the left side by Fairley, and the count holds at 3-2. No home runs in that first game at New York. So the Reds now have won 8 games in a row. They have won 11 of their last 12 games. The second game is just getting started. Joey J will go for the Reds, Galen Cisco for New York. At this moment, the Reds and the Phillies are tied for first place. Here's the 3-2 pitch now. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. So Fairley goes out on strikes, 2 away, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Nate Oliver. That's the second strikeout for Bruce today. He got Griffith in the first. First portion of this afternoon's broadcast is being sent your way by the American Tobacco Company, makers of Lucky Strike cigarettes. Here's Oliver. He bats right, 2 outs, nobody on, hitting .249. 20 runs batted in for this little right-handed batter. Bruce's first pitch to him is outside of the letters, ball 1. St. Louis 3 and Pittsburgh nothing at the end of 5. Roger Craig against Vernon Law in that one. And the Cubs defeated San Francisco 4-1 in the first game of their doubleheader today. There was a pretty good pitching attraction there. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Oliver now. There's a high foul. No play on that one. Back up into the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike. Larry Jackson defeated Juan Marichal in that first game. Cubs won it 4-1. Jackson won his 23rd game of the year. Marichal is a 20-game winner. He's 20-8 now, and Jackson is 23-10. It was 0-0 until the Cubs scored all 4 runs in the 8th inning, and the Giants came back with 1 in the top half of the 9th inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Oliver. Call strike on the outside corner at the knees, and it's 1-2. Yankees did not score in the 11th inning. And New York and Washington are still tied 2-2 with the Senators batting in the bottom half of the 11th. Whitey Ford started for New York, removed in the 8th, and Benny Daniels started for Washington, taken out in the 11th inning. Mickey Mantle homered in the 7th with nobody on for New York, and Don Zimmer hit one for Washington in the 8th with nobody on. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Oliver now. Ground ball in the hole. Casco backhands it, can't get it. That'll probably be a base hit. Ball got away from Casco, going back into the hole. Got a glove on it. It hit the heel of his glove and bounced up his arm, and Oliver is safe at first. So with 2 outs, I doubt that Casco could have made the play on Oliver had he picked it up. Let's see what the official score says. So there are 2 outs now, and here's Bart Shirley. They're going to give him an error on it. That is officially charged as an error on Casco. That's only about the 15th error on Casco this year. So it's a boot on the Houston shortstop, Eddie Casco. And now here's Bart Shirley. There's a lob over to first base. Shirley is hitting .306. Bats right-handed. 5 runs batted in. No score. Top of the 2nd inning. The Dodgers have their second base runner on now. And Oliver takes and breaks on the first pitch. There's a ground ball right back up the middle, and Morgan forced him on it. Well, he put that one in a good spot. Joe was standing on the bag when he caught that ground ball on the hit and run. So Shirley is safe at first, and Oliver is forced out unassisted by the second baseman, Joe Morgan. And that retires the side. No runs, no hits, 1 error. 1 man was left on base. Bottom of the 2nd coming up now. Dodgers nothing. Colt 45s nothing. Here's a final on that Washington game. The Senators won it. Washington has defeated New York 3-2 in 11 innings, and that snaps the Yankees' 11-game winning string. Al Reniff was the loser. Ronnie Klein the winner for Washington. Home runs by Mickey Mantle and Don Zimmer. The Baltimore Orioles defeated Cleveland this afternoon 4-0. A three-hit shutout by Robin Roberts for his 12th win of the year, and Sonny Siebert lost it for Cleveland. And Norm Seaburn had a home run for the Orioles in the fourth with one on. Chicago has scored a run in the top of the first at Kansas City. That game has just started. Joel Horland against Blue Moon Odom in that one. And at the end of 6.5, with the Tigers batting in the bottom of the seventh, Tigers 3, Boston nothing. Bill Monbouquet for the Red Sox, Joe Sparma for Detroit. And Bill Bruton had a home run for Detroit in the fifth with nobody on. And Minnesota-Los Angeles has not yet started. So New York's lead has been trimmed now to 3 games in the American League race, as Baltimore has won 4-0, and the Yankees have lost 3-2. And the White Sox are just playing now. Just started. San Francisco, Chicago, no score at the end of 3. The Phillies picked up 2 runs in the 8th inning. It's now 14-6. Milwaukee going into the 9th inning. And no score yet on Cincinnati, New York second game. And at the end of 6 innings, the Cardinals lead Pittsburgh 3-0. Here's Walt Bond now, leading off in the bottom half of the second. Here's Walt Bond. He's hitting .256, 20 home runs, and 83 runs batted in. Here's the windup by Drysdale on the pitch now. There's a high pop foul off the left side. No chance, though, for Shirley to get it. Going back up into the first or second row back of the Houston dugout. We just had a scoring change on the ground ball hit by Nate Oliver. Changed that error to Casco to a base hit for Nate Oliver. So that's the second hit off Bruce. Erased the error on Casco, and credit Oliver with an infield single. 1 strike now. Here's the pitch by Drysdale, and it's low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. No score, bottom half of the second inning. Bond will be followed by Bob Aspromonte and Jimmy Wynn. Here's the 1-1 pitch now. There's a high pop-up left side. Shortstop Dick Trzaskowski just off the left side of second on the infield grass, and there's 1 down. So Bond has opened the second by popping to short. And here's Aspro now with 1 out.
Third baseman, number 14.
Been 2 hits in the ball game so far, and the Dodgers have both of them. Well, the sprinkles have stopped now. A little blue sky overhead. Here's Aspro. He's hitting .283, 12 homers, and 66 runs batted in. First pitch to him is inside, up around the letters for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Drysdale, in 305 innings this year, has struck out 227 batters and has issued 62 bases on balls. Drysdale has pitched 21 complete games this year. This is his 39th start. Ground ball back in the hole. Trzaskowski there, though. There's the throw to first, and they got him. So Aspromonte got it down to the hole over to Trzaskowski's right, but he fielded the ball easily and came up with it. So Aspro has bounced out short to first. Here's Jimmy Wynn now. Wynn is hitting .215, 4 homers, and 14 runs batted in. 2 outs, nobody on base. Last half of the second inning. 28-year-old right-hander from Van Nuys, California, doing the pitching for the Dodgers today, Don Drysdale. Wynn got a hold of one deep left field, but Tommy Davis is back quickly to haul it in to retire the side. Well hit ball, but Davis went back and dragged it down. 3 up and 3 down. So Drysdale retires the first 6 men to face him out here today. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. And our ball game now goes to the first half of the third, with the score Los Angeles nothing and Houston nothing.
Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Fine tobacco at its best. The taste that millions like. Great Taste was born the day they made this famous Lucky Blend. And it's a fact, each Lucky's packed with fine tobacco, end to end. Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Was born the day they made this famous Lucky Blend. a fact. Each Lucky's packed with fine tobacco, end-to-end taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and that means great taste.
First half of the third inning, we've had a little bit of a wind shift out here now, not too much. It seems to occasionally blow in from center field toward the plate. We mentioned earlier that the wind today is blowing from the left field corner to the right side, which is just the opposite of the normal prevailing winds out here. Here's the first pitch to Drysdale, bounces to third, Aspro up with it on the grass, throw to first, and there's one down. So Drysdale, a 179 hitter, with one homer, 8 runs batted in, bounces out third to first. That'll bring up the top of the batting order, Dick Trzaskowski. 1 out, nobody on base. Score, 0-0, third inning. Aspromonte has had only 11 errors this year at third base. And the National League record for the fewest number of errors in a season by a third baseman is held jointly by Aspromonte and Stan Hack of the Chicago Cubs. Trzaskowski takes a strike up around the letters, and that is 13. The record was originally set by Hack of the Cubs in 1937 and tied in 62 by Aspromonte. And up to this point, Aspro has committed only 11 errors. Here's the pitch now. High, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball. 1 out, nobody on. Darrell Griffith will be up next. Bob Bruce and Don Drysdale. Bruce has a sign again now from Jerry Grody, and here's the 1-1 pitch, and Trzaskowski takes just a little bit high again for ball 2, and it's 2-1. 2, strike 1. Outfield shaded just a bit off the right side for Trzaskowski. Here's the pitch now. Curveball, and that's popped up off the left side of the plate. Back by the screen now. Grody back, but he can't get it. Hits up on top of the wire. Almost directly behind the plate, and it's ball 2, strike 2. Here at Colt Stadium this year, in the first 8 games between Houston and Los Angeles, the Dodgers have taken 6. And the Dodgers have already clinched the season series, winning 9 against Houston's 5. We still have 3 more games to play next weekend at Dodger Stadium. Ball 2, strike 2. 1 out. Drysdale has bounced to third, and Trzaskowski singled his first time. A 2-2 pitch on the way, popped up, back by the shortstop Eddie Casco, over by second base, and just behind the bag, a little bit shaded over by the second base side, 2 down. Trzaskowski pops to short. Here's Darrell Griffith now with 2 outs.
Number 26, the right fielder, Darrell Griffith.
Griffith, the left-handed batter, struck out his first time up. 2 outs, nobody on, 0-0. Here's the windup by Bruce now, and the pitch on the way, and there's a swing and a miss and a strike 1. Colt 45s going into play today are 4 games ahead of their 1963 pace. 45s have won 64 games, lost 91. A year ago at this time, Houston had won 60 and lost 95. 4 games on the plus side there. Here's the pitch to Griffith now, and a swing and a miss. Got him on a slip pitch or change, and it's strike 2. In the games behind column, 45s are 10 games closer to first place than they were a year ago at this time. Here's the 2-strike pitch to Griffith now, fastball, and he punches a foul high and up into the seats off the third base side, and the count holds at 2 strikes. 2-strike count now on Darrell Griffith as Drysdale has bounced out and Trzaskowski is popped to shortstop. Bob winds again now. Here's the pitch on the way, and he struck him out. Got him on a curveball low inside. That's the 3rd strikeout for Bruce today. So 3 up and 3 down here for the Dodgers in the 3rd. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. And the score now, Houston 0 and Los Angeles 0 as we go into the bottom half of the 3rd. If you're a cigarette smoker, here's a question for you. Have you tried a Lucky lately? If not, just remember this. When you taste a Lucky, you taste fine tobacco at its best. After all, LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And that means great taste. It means when you light up a Lucky, you get rich, full, enjoyable flavor. So have yourself a reunion with a great cigarette. Get together with the red bullseye and taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Fine tobacco at its best. The taste that millions like. Great taste was born the day they made this famous Lucky blend. And it's a fact, each Lucky's packed with fine tobacco, end to end. Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Last half of the third inning now. Phillies batting in the bottom of the ninth now. 14-6, Braves leading, and this is the Phillies' last chance. Eddie Casco will lead off for the Colt 45s. Jerry Grody and Bob Bruce will follow here in the bottom of the third. Casco is hitting .247 with 22 runs batted in. 16 doubles and 1 triple for Eddie so far this year. Here's Drysdale's windup and the first pitch to Casco, and Eddie takes a strike above the knees, strike one. Drysdale has retired the first 6 men to face him. No score, third inning. Jerry Grody in the on-deck circle off the left side. Here's the pitch now. Eddie started to go, and he took a strike. That's right up around the belt, and it's 0-2. 2 strikes on Casco, lead batter, third inning. This is the 9th year that Drysdale has been
KPRC, Houston.
Dodgers. Ball that's over but low. He started out with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1956 after spending a couple seasons in the minor leagues. He's won 141 games and lost 105 in the 9 seasons. And he has 18 wins, 15 losses today. And the 1-2 pitch now to Eddie Casco. Curveball, tapped foul up against the screen off the right side. And the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes. One and 2 count. Outfield is pretty well straight away here for Casco. Here's the windup by Drysdale, and the next pitch to Casco. Fastball, ground ball in the hole. Trzaskowski back deep, throw to first base, and they just got him on a close play at first. That's the second time that Trzaskowski has had to go back in the hole to throw out a runner, Aspromonte, in the second inning, and now he gets Casco to open the third. Here's Jerry Grody, the Houston catcher, hitting 183. 3 homers and 24 runs batted in. It's interesting to note that going into play today, the Phillies' magic number to clinch the pennant was 7, and in just a few moments it could be that Cincinnati will have that magic number. Here's the windup and the pitch now. There's a swing by Grody and a foul off the left side. In case you've joined us late, the Phillies are losing their first game, and Cincinnati has already won their first game. Their 8th consecutive win, incidentally. And they're playing the second game now at New York, just getting underway. 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Grody now, and he starts to go, and he checks it. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike, 1-1 count. The magic number in the American League is still 4, because the Yankees have lost their game, and Baltimore has won. 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. There's a swing and a miss by Grody. Pitch up around the letters, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last half of the third, Houston nothing, Los Angeles nothing. Grody hits one to right field. Darrell Griffith there, though, and he hauls it down. Well hit line drive into right. Griffith moving quickly to his right to make the catch. So with 2 down, that will bring up the Houston pitcher, Bob Bruce.
45's pitcher, number 30, Bob Bruce.
Bob is hitting 186. He has 1 run batted in, 1 double. Outfield does not pull him. Left fielder Tommy Davis way over in left center field. Here's Drysdale's first pitch to Bruce. Bob taps the first one. The third baseman, Bart Shirley, cuts in front of Trzaskowski. Easy play at first base to retire the side. So Drysdale gets 9 batters in a row. He retires the side in order for the first 3 innings. And that's all for Houston here now in the bottom of the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. And the score now at the end of 3 innings of play is Los Angeles nothing and Houston nothing. There have been only 2 hits today, and the Dodgers picked up both of them, a single by Trzaskowski in the first and a single by Nate Oliver in the second inning. Oliver's was an infield hit. And as I just mentioned, the 45s have been retired in order through the first 3 innings without a strikeout by Don Drysdale. So as we start the 4th inning out here this afternoon, our final day at Colt Stadium, the score is Los Angeles 0 and Houston 0. And right here in the 4th inning, let's hear from Lowell Pass.
All right, Gene, thank you very much. And hi again, everybody. 2 fine right-handers battling it out here in the final game for the Colts at home for this year, the final game regularly scheduled at Colt Stadium ever. Bob Bruce for the 45s and Don Drysdale for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The peg has been made to second base. Time for batter up. And the leadoff batter here on the top of the 4th inning is Willie Davis, a left-hand hitter. He popped to Aspromonte at third base in the first inning. Willie batting at .295. Very good all-around ball player. Great speed. He has 73 runs batted in on the season. Here's Bruce with the pitch now. And the first one swung on and missed. Strike 1. Willie Davis will take a cut ball. It's a do or die sort of a swing. He can be fooled quite frequently. And the pitch. Bouncing in there. On back to the wire. Ball 1 and strike 1. To show the speed of Willie, he's stolen 36 bases this year. Behind Maury Wills, of course, the total number of stolen bases, and been thrown out 14 times. He struck out 55 times on the season. Outfield playing him to pull deep. The wind is blowing this way now, changing around just a little bit. Here's the pitch from Bob. High. On upstairs for ball 2 and strike 1. If you dialed in a little late, there is no score, 2 hits in the game, and the Dodgers have those. And we have on the infield Aspromonte and Casco, the left side. To the right side, Morgan and Bond. And Bruce's pitch swung on, and he shaves it on the top side, fouling it in against Grody, who sort of keels over there. And Jerry gets out now. Trainer Ewell out quickly. Grody limping a little bit. It could have been that it got him on the leg, the right leg up just above the knee. Or it could have been at the top of the shoe now, where he's flexing the right foot just a little bit. Ball 2 and strike 2. Tommy Davis will be the on-deck man, and John Roseborough to bat third here. 0-0. Grody down to the crouch again. Got a real fine crowd here for a threatening afternoon in Houston. And you good people in Louisiana, we got a lot of your people over here. They were over for the big football game last night. Ball 2, strike 2. Bruce's pitch. Swung on. He reached for a high one and fouled it back to the left. And Grody running it down, but it clears the wire. And a ball 2, strike 2 count. Bob Bruce, having pitched 190 and 1/3 innings with 14 wins and 9 defeats. And his earned run average is 289. And his mound opponent, 219 on the earned run average. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on a high one, hit down the right field line, cutting back over into the seats, though, I believe. Both Morgan and Rusty letting up on the run. It's into the boxes. Ball 2 and strike 2. Well, bulletin final score, Milwaukee defeated Philadelphia 14-8. The Phillies got 2 more runs in the 9th inning. 8 runs, normally enough to win most any ball game, of course. And Callison had a 2-run homer in the 9th inning. No one can say he didn't do his share. He had 3 home runs in the ball game and drove in 4 of their 8 runs with homers. A change swung on it down to Bond in foul territory, just inches over that line. Ball 2 and strike 2. Cloninger, who started but was relieved by Olivo in the 8th, was the winning pitcher. Cloninger became an 18-game winner today, 14 losses. Bunning was the starting pitcher, and he was belted. Lost his 7th. He's won 18. So the story, in case you didn't hear or couldn't find it, recorded anywhere today, why, it's a tight race in the National League. There's a swing and a miss, and he bruised him one time. Davis goes down swinging, and it's the 4th strikeout recorded by Bob Bruce.
Well, the left fielder, Tommy Davis.
Tommy Davis forced a man retiring the side of the first inning up again. 275 hitter and has 14 homers. One of them came in the first game of the series. on Friday night. He hit it way up into the seats in left center. Here's the pitch from Bruce. Swung on and drive into center field. Back a bit towards right center. Wynn over, and Rusty Staub coming in. And it's going to be Rusty, I believe, in front of Jimmy Wynn. And Rusty lost his cap, but he hangs on to that baseball. Almost colliding out there. Jim Wynn and Rusty Staub. 2 men are out. And John Roseborough. Well, the story, I guess, on center fielding is that you go get anything that you can get, roaming far and wide. And Rusty figuring, well, I just don't want to let anybody slip up out there, take any chances. No question about the improvement of Jimmy Wynn and Rusty on the defensive out there. John Roseborough flying into right field in the second inning. Left-hand batter. Bruce pitch is high for ball one. Roseborough hitting at 283 this time around, and he has 42 runs batted in. Johnny's hit 3 homers. No score in the game. You've just dialed us in, and we're in the first of the fourth inning, and Bruce brings on the pitch. Swung on, fouled up and back. It's out of play. So the count is ball one and strike one. Team batting average for the Dodgers is 250, 250. And the opposing batsmen against their pitchers have hit 234. There's a change-up, fouled off into the crowd to the left side. That time, Roseborough got out a little early, committing himself, and then more or less following through. Ball one and strike two. The Houston earned run average. He hit it way up into the seats in left center. Here's the pitch from Bruce. Swung on and drive into center field. Back a bit towards right center. Wynn over, and Rusty Staub coming in. And it's going to be Rusty, I believe, in front of Jimmy Wynn. And Rusty lost his cap, but he hangs on to that baseball. Almost colliding out there. Jim Wynn and Rusty Staub. 2 men are out. And John Roseborough. Well, the story, I guess, on center fielding is that you go get anything that you can get, roaming far and wide. And Rusty figuring, well, I just don't want to let anybody slip up out there, take any chances. No question about the improvement of Jimmy Wynn and Rusty on the defensive out there. John Roseborough flying into right field in the second inning. Left-hand batter. Bruce pitch is high for ball one. Roseborough hitting at 283 this time around, and he has 42 runs batted in. Johnny's hit 3 homers. No score in the game. You've just dialed us in, and we're in the first of the fourth inning, and Bruce brings on the pitch. Swung on, fouled up and back. It's out of play. So the count is ball one and strike one. Team batting average for the Dodgers is 250, 250. And the opposing batsmen against their pitchers have hit 234. There's a change-up, fouled off into the crowd to the left side. That time, Roseborough got out a little early, committing himself, and then more or less following through. Ball one and strike two. The Houston earned run average, the pitching staff, 3.38. The pitch, and it missed outside. Ball two and strike two. Of course, Gene has noted, and you've heard us refer to this fact many times, that the great improvement by Bruce in the low number of bases on balls. It's hard to believe he had walked just 31 batters in 190 1/3 innings. There's a foul, flipped off back of third into the crowd. So it's ball two and strike two. Bruce has allowed 8 home runs, and with that easy, tantalizing, soft little motion up there, they go for a lot of his stuff. There's a foul as he swung on the breaking ball, hitting down around the knees. Ball two and strike two. Roseborough is 43 and 61 on bases on balls and strikeouts. 61 times he struck out. So Bruce has struck out 133 batters on the season. And here's Bob's pitch. Fastball swung on, back to the wire. Foul ball, 2-2. 2 down, and no one on base. No score in the game, and just 2 hits thus far Trzaskowski's single as the lead batter into left field in the first inning, and then Oliver on a very close call got a base hit infield single to deep short. Pitch change, swung on and fouled off to the left side. That was in tight against Roseboro. Bruce changed him up, and it's ball 2 and strike 2. Hard again, look for the sign, he's ready. Round comes the arm, the pitch. Swung on, line out into left field. Spangler over there. Out towards left center, not too deep. He's got it for the out. And that retires the Dodgers. So no runs, no hits, and no one left on. There were no errors. And the game moves to the last half of the fourth inning. It's Houston nothing, and the Los Angeles Dodgers nothing.
Years ago, when Lucky Strike set out to make their first cigarette, they set their sights on this, taste. And taste is just what they got. Today, it's still the Lucky Strike story in one word. The reason? Fine tobacco. Fine tobacco blended from one end of a Lucky to the other. LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And you know what that means. Great taste every time you light up. Taste that's rich and full. If you smoke for taste, taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Fine tobacco at its best. The taste that millions like. Great taste was born the day they made this famous Lucky Blend. And it's a fact, each Lucky's packed with fine tobacco, end to end. Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Yes, Lucky Strike, another fine product from the American Tobacco Company.
And on we go. Last half of inning number 4. We got a new leader in the National League right now. Cincinnati has won its first game, and Philadelphia lost its game to Milwaukee. So Cincinnati has vaulted into first place in an almost unbelievable rally, and have won 8 straight ball games. That's a new mark in the National League for consecutive wins this year. 6 was the former high. Here's Drysdale pitching to Spangler. Ball on the outside. Spangler bounded 5-3, third to first, his first time up. Cincinnati has jumped out in front in the second game against the Mets, scoring 3 runs in the top half of the first inning. That's keeping you posted right up to the second. 3-0 Cincinnati, with the Mets now coming to bat in the last half of the first inning. The new leader, Cincinnati, and the Cardinals are moving in. All right, the pitch. Chain swung on, clipped out to the left side. Trzaskowski at short. Little looper is there and takes it for the out. Spangler off balance on the swing. A little change-up on him, I guess. And here's Joe Morgan. Grounded out second to first his first time up. Morgan has 1 hit since joining the 45s, but he's a better hitter than that, believe you. Cincinnati won its first game from the Mets 4-1, 0-2, making it 17-7 on the season. Stollard was the losing pitcher. In rides the pitch. Morgan takes low. Noting that Joe Morgan, having been to bat 18 times to start this game and walked 6 times. St. Louis is leading 3-0 over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates batting in the 8th inning. Drysdale winds, delivers. In tight against Morgan, he skips back. Ball 2 and no strikes. So, the St. Louis Cardinals also with an opportunity. We're just a game and a half out today. In tight to Morgan, ball 3 and no strikes. So St. Louis, if they can win, will be just the 1/2 game back of Cincinnati. The Giants also with an opportunity, but they lost their first game. Here's a strike, 3 balls and 1 strike to Joe Morgan. No score in this ball game. Last half of the 4th inning, 1 out. Houston batting with no one on base. And Drysdale pumps and throws, swung on. A looper going into shallow center, coming in Willie Davis now, and he's there. Loves it for the out. It's 2 away. Willie can really cover the territory. Moving back to the left and right and coming in. Rusty Staub. And if you were here when it happened, you'll never forget. and if you were listening, perhaps you'll never forget, the first home run Rusty Stubb ever got in the big leagues was off this big right-hander, Don Drysdale, last year. And it was hit deep into the right of straightaway center. The pitch, high for ball one. Rusty popped out to first base in the first inning today. 32 runs batted in for the redhead. The pitch, Stubb takes in there for strike call. 1 ball and 1 strike. Drysdale with that sort of a whiplash delivery. It's hard to pick up the flat of the ball. It gets in on you. Rocks back and delivery. Swung on, popped up. This is back of the plate. Roseborough off with a mask, following back now. He's under it, and Roseborough grabs it for the put-out. Boy, this game is moving along. Houston here, no runs, no hits. None left on, and there were no errors. Well, at the end of 4 innings of play, Los Angeles nothing, and Houston nothing. Well, in a few short days, the 1964 baseball season will be over. And we'd like to say we've enjoyed entertaining those of you who were winners of our various contests throughout the season. And our thanks to Trans-Texas Airways with its new radar-smooth conveyors and extended time-saving schedules for helping us make your trips here more enjoyable. And to the world-famous Shamrock Hilton Hotel for the wonderful accommodations our guests enjoyed. A special congratulation goes out to our grand prize winners who will soon be winging their way to the New York World's Fair aboard American Airlines, route to the Astrojets. And to all of our listeners, be sure to join us daily for 1964 and next year when we will originate from our palatial new home in the fabulous Dome Stadium. A lot of people around here today, in fact every day, everywhere, talking about the Dome Stadium. Ron Fairley, first baseman for the Dodgers, will lead off. He struck out swinging in the second inning. And here's Bob Bruce with the rock back on the mound, the pitch, and it's in there for strike call. Tony Vinzon calling him back to plate today. An almost unbelievable finish here, believe me, in this National League this season. We've had some great and exciting finishes, haven't we? But this is going to top them all, it looks like. There's a drive bounding down to Bond. He doesn't come up with it. It was down just between his shoes and then error Bond. He just had to make a couple of 3 little strides to his right, and it was going to pump it underhand over to Bruce, covering at first, I suppose, but he did not come up with the ball, looked back, and couldn't fetch it in time.
Second baseman, number 29, Nate Oliver.
So there's the first error of the ball game, and the lead batter is on, Fairley at first, and here is Nate Oliver. Oliver, on a question play there at second base, it was first chalked up as an error, and then later reversed, scored as a base hit on the infield, with Casco driving back hard to his right on a bounder that in his backhanded try went off with the glove and skipped up high off the shoulder. Here's the bunt off to the right side, and Bond will go back to Morgan at first base covering. The sacrifice is okay. So with a man at second now, Fairley sacrificed along. It's 1 out, and Bart Shirley is the batter. Shirley was hitting at a clip of 306 coming into the ball game. He's dropped to 297. Of course, has not been up very many times. 37 times at bat and has 11 hits. Right-hand batter. Bart Shirley out of the University of Texas, and received an award as the minor league Texas ball player who most likely to succeed as a major leaguer. And here he is being given a good try by the Los Angeles Dodgers, the defending world's champions. Bob Bruce looks in there. Runner at second. No score, but the Dodgers threaten here with 1 out. And a pitch. In tight. Ball 1. Will Bob sort of pitch around him a little bit? And Bruce, with the pressure on, the infield, of course, having to be concerned with the batter. With no one on at first base, 1 out, the runner leads off at second. A pitch, and it swung on, hit deep into left center field. Wind goes back. Wind fading way back there. He's under it, and he grabs it off for the put-out. Jimmy got a good jump on the ball at the crack of the bat and made it look relatively easy. But of course, you got to make that play any day, all the way in the big leagues. And here's Don Drysdale with 2 men out. Drysdale bounced 5-3 his first time up. So now Cincinnati has won 90 games and lost 66, and Philadelphia has won 90 games and lost 67. Cincinnati is on its way to another victory in a double dip up at HOU Stadium in New York today. The wind is blowing straight in right at the moment, as indicated by the flags in center field. And the pitch to Drysdale is high. Ball 1. That's right. If you were not tuned in, we gave that final score. Milwaukee clobbered Philadelphia 14-8. Callison got 3 homers, all in vain. We'll have a few sprinkles, and we'll tiptoe around and through this one today. Weatherman's being real nice to us today. We had some very ominous clouds out there, growling and causing it up. There's a ball going on past the middle of Grody on a high fastball delivery, and advancing to third, run Fairley. Followed a wild pitch. Wild pitch, Bruce. Fairley advancing to third. The count goes ball 2 and strike 1 with 2 out. No score in the ball game. Drysdale, batting average of 178. Drysdale is one real fine competitor and a good attitude, of course. To a great extent, that is a part of success. This game of baseball, the pitch, and it drops low and away. Breaking stuff sliding off. It appeared ball 3 and strike 1. Just a few more raindrops, but not too many people stirring right at this moment. A lot of umbrellas out, though. Bob Bruce ready. And the pitch. And it missed high. Ball 4. And Bruce has given up a base on balls to Don Drysdale, the first free ticket off of Bob Bruce today. 32 bases on balls for the season.
Number 44, Dick Trzaskowski.
Dick Trzaskowski, the shortstop, who has one of the 2 hits allowed by Bob Bruce, is the batter. The right-hand batter is Trzaskowski, and he has a .252 batting average. 0-0 now with runners at third and first. 2 men are out. Bob Bruce giving up the first walk in 14 innings to Drysdale, who leads off at first. Fairley third. The pitch swung on and missed. Strike 1. Bruce over the top and powering right through with a follow-through on that delivery. Trzaskowski popped to short after he singled, so he's 1 for 2 today. Pitch swung on, hit down to the left side to short. Ground ball scooped up by Casco. Flips it to Morgan. Force play on Drysdale. A nice play. You got to make that one. No runs, no hits, and 2 left on. There was 1 error. We move into the last of the 5th inning. It's Houston 0 and Los Angeles 0. Well, Don Drysdale back on the mound getting warm-up throws. Last of the 5th inning coming around, and he'll be facing Walter Bond, Bob Aspromonte, and Jimmy Wynn. 0-0. 2 hits in the ball game, both by the Los Angeles Dodgers. Walter Bond up there now, big left-hand batter, and swings and nubs one down softly to the first baseman Fairley. Steps on first, and it's 1 away. An unassisted put out. Chicago got 4 runs on the Ernie Banks slam there in the 5th inning, and the Cubs lead the Giants 4-0 through 5 innings of that second game of the doubleheader. Chicago won the first game off the Giants. 4-1 was the final score. Oh, boy, the Giants had visions of Sugar Plum Fairies or something up there when they were playing today to start their doubleheader, only 3 games back of Philadelphia. Aspromonte moves out on that high inside fast one. Ball 1. Bob grounded short to first his first time up today. Was in the opening lineup. First game ever for the 45s in Colt Stadium. Came up with 3 hits, had the first hit as a Colt 45. Here's the pitch. Swung on and wrapped into left field, knocked to deep. Tommy Davis up with that glove, just almost standing in his tracks, has got it. and it's 2 away. So in the last half of the 5th inning, 2 men are down, no one on base, and Jimmy Wynn is the batter. Wynn punched one fairly deep into left field, taken by Tommy Davis in the 2nd inning. Well, we were mixing them up now on ground balls and fly balls. Drysdale has not featured a strikeout pitch at all here today. He has not walked a man. He has not struck out a batter. Jimmy Wynn, who has a .214 batting average, pumping that bat around, and here's the pitch to him. Strike call, right in and over. Wynn has 4 homers, 6 doubles, and 14 RBIs. Jim has now been up 192 times as a 45 this year, the pitch. And that's a fastball over. Talking about Drysdale has improved his mark over the overall mark of last year in the Pennant winning and championship year. Drysdale has a 2.19 earned run average. Last year he had 263 on the season. The pitch has a check swing, the ball breaking low and outside. And so the count is ball 1 and strike 2. 2 down. No score in this ball game. Drysdale pumps the new ball this time. So Don Drysdale, who last year had a record of 19 wins and 17 losses, is 18 against 15 losses this year. Pitch. High pop foul. Man, this is a mile up into the crowd off third base side. The count will hold at ball 1 and strike 2. But we have a new leader in the National League, and it's Cincinnati, which won its 7th consecutive ball game when they polished off the Mets the first game of the doubleheader today. Here's the next pitch now, and just a shade off the strike zone. Ball 2 and strike 2. Everybody started to leave the scene there for the Dodgers on the infield. It was that close, in other words. And Cincinnati is leading over New York, 3-0 the 2nd inning of the 2nd game. Wynn swings and fouls back to the wire. Jimmy trying to put us on the scoreboard up there. 0-0 right now. 2 hits, and the Dodgers have them both. This is the final, of course. By now everybody knows it, as far as the home games are concerned this year. And we'll move into San Francisco Tuesday night. Pitch. And there's breaking stuff low and away. This portion of our play-by-play being sent to you by the Pearl Brewing Company of San Antonio. Enjoy a cold Pearl beer. It's brewed with that famous spring water from the country of you know where. Right. Jimmy Wynn now with a 3-2. Here it is. On the way. Low. Ball 4. He walked him. There goes a perfect ball game, and we get a base runner. How do you like those apples? Drysdale has given up his 63rd base on balls of the season. And let's see, 303 innings, 4, 5, 6, 7, 308 innings and a third he has worked so far this year. And that was his 63rd base on balls. Here's Eddie Casco, who grounded short first his first time. Drysdale a glance over the shoulder, and there's a bouncer. The outside edge of the plate, ball 1. Drysdale crossing them, mixing them up in there. He's not allowed a base hit. And this is the first base runner that we have managed. As Wynn drew out a 3-2 for a base on balls. And big Don Drysdale is all set. Here's Wynn breaking on the pitch out. The pitch goes down to second. Wynn slides. He's out. Wynn was trying to sort of a swing around outside slide. And Nate Oliver in there took the throw on the pitch out. They had his number and tagged him out of there. So make it 2-4 to score long on the putout. And for Houston, no runs, no hits, none left. There were no errors. At the end of 5 complete innings, it's Los Angeles nothing and Houston nothing. Here's the left-hand batter, Darrell Griffith, leading off for the Dodgers, and right-hander Bruce ready to feed in the first one. Here it comes, swung on and missed. Strike 1. George, it's precipitating just slightly there. Here's Bruce with the up. The pitch is hit down to the right side. The ground ball. Morgan's got it. Feeds it back to Bond at first. Got him. And so Griffith grounds 4-3 on Morgan at the edge of the outfield grass back to Bond at first base. 4-3. Coach Ferguson of the Brazos Sports Facts just walked in to say hello. And out of the good area down there, Freeport and Brazosport and Clute and all through there, you read his fine sports coverage. Will Davis, the left-hand batter, swings on a changeup and fouls it off. He sliced that one on the top side for strike one. Davis has popped to third and struck out swinging. Bruce has recorded 4 strikeouts here today. We have a 0-0 battle and 2 hits in the game. The Dodgers have both those. Bruce's pitch. Swing on. High one. Fouled off. Back of the right field line. Way back up in there for the souvenir. I would say we've got around 7,000 or 8,000 people or so here, in spite of the threatening weather. Tommy Davis is on deck. Willie Davis, a .294 batting average. Pitch. A little number foul off to the right of the plate. Got that one on the top side. Bruce breaking him down there for them. Bruce gives you that tantalizing slow motion. Soft and fluffy like, you know, those popcorn up there. You got to watch him. And then he'll turn that fastball loose on you. So you got to be ready for most anything. 0-2, 1 out. Dodgers batting and no one on base. We're in the top of the 6th inning, scoreless. But there were some scores over there in that Milwaukee-Philadelphia game. 22 runs. A swing way up high, and he missed strike 3. That was up over the head almost. And Bruce records his 5th strikeout. Well, he breezed him out of there.
Number 12, the left fielder,
And give Bruce 134 strikeouts for the season. With 2 down, here's Tommy Davis. Tommy's batting average is .274. 84 runs batted in. Right-hand batter up there. Bruce got 2 out now in the top of the 6th inning. No score in this ball game. Bob wants another sign. And okays it. Now he goes into the pump, rocks back, and here's the pitch. Missing just a little off the strike zone. Ball 1. Roseboro would be the next batter. All right, Bruce, it was easy-going right-hander on the mound. Plenty of time he takes. Delivers. Swung on, drive into left field. Spangler goes back. That ball is pretty well tagged. Wynn, open arm, stretching way with the glove now, and has got it. Wynn coming from center over to left center, hauls it in, and Spangler backed off that fly. No runs, no hits, none left aboard, and there were no errors. We move on to the last half of the 6th inning and the score. It's no score. Houston nothing, Los Angeles nothing.
And let's welcome here this afternoon.
If you're the kind of man who likes the simple life, an outdoor vacation with the kids and the wife, a hunting or a fishing trip, you like that kind of thing. You like the beer from the country of 1100 Springs. Let's have a world beer, world of beer that brings refreshment from the country of 1100 Springs. So let's have a cold world beer.
Pearl is better beer because it's brewed with famous spring water from the country of 1100 Springs.
Refreshment from the country of 1100 Springs. So let's have a cold world
Well, I'd say one thing here at Colt Stadium today for the winder-upper as far as National League regularly scheduled baseball in Colt Stadium. We've got one humdinger of a pitching duo. Nothing and nothing. Going to the last of the 6th inning, and Eddie Casco leads off for the 45s. Grody and Bruce to follow. Drysdale and Bruce hooked up in the duel. The only 2 hits gotten today, Trzaskowski single to left, and Oliver single in the hole deep short. Drysdale ready to pump and throw to Eddie Kesko. This is just his second appearance. There's a bounder down to short. Trzaskowski and scoops and throws over, and boy, he looks Jim Dandy out there at short, doesn't he? 1 down. Jerry Grody, the batter. He flied to right field his first time. And a pitch. Swung on. There's a broken bat down to the right side. Second baseman Nate Oliver fumbles it and can't come up with it. That one down to the right side of the carpet, and they call it error 4. And Grody is aboard. And we might see a little bit of sacrifice bunting here. It's amazing deduction, isn't it? Al Spangler moves out on deck. Third baseman Griffith over to the mound. And to play this, who's going to cover what spot of territory right in there and how and so on. And Fairley holds against Grody at first. This is just our second base runner, mind you. And the delivery is low. Fairley charging in, down from first. We have not had a man stranded left on base, as a matter of fact, to show you the effectiveness of Drysdale so far this afternoon. He's down, ready. Third baseman coming down the grass. The pitch is low, and it's ball 2. Bruce grounded 5-3 in the third inning this first time. And looking down to Busby, coaching up at third, what'll it do? And I imagine that Lumen is bouncing the signal off Busby there. Of course, Adair's our coach at first. And coaching Grody, who edges away. The pitch he bunted on and missed, and it's ball 2 and strike 1. Bruce tried to get right on top of the ball and get it out there and put a little deadening on it, I guess. Couldn't make contact. Ball 2 and strike 1 with 1 out. Bruce overall on the season has 11 hits and 60 times at bat. One of them has been a double, and he has 1 run batted in. That double was right here, wasn't it? Down that right field line. 2 balls, 1 strike. Just 1 out. No score. We're in the last half of the 6th inning. Grody edges off at first. Drysdale comes to the plate, and it's sort of a half chopping swing. He had bunt position with the bat and then sort of took a stiff arm swing at the ball. 2-2. It appeared that Bruce was trying to line one over the third baseman's head there. Darrell Griffith. Well, the weather's turned off just beautiful here, hasn't it? Sort of air conditioned like we can expect in the Dome Stadium. 2-2. Here's the pitch. The ball is bunted on and missed, and it's strike 3, and Bruce is out. Holding at first base is Jerry Grody. That'll bring on Spangler, who has bounded 5-3 and is popped out to short. Al Spangler. We have not been able to get a base hit off Don Drysdale.
Al Spangler.
And the Dodgers have had just 2 hits off Bob Bruce to show you what kind of pitching we're getting here this afternoon. But we've had, as we think back, a lot of well-pitched games in this stadium, haven't we? For all 3 years. Some beautifully pitched games. Drysdale to the Rosenbach. Spangler, with a .247 batting average, has 36 runs batted in. And the extra base total, 18 doubles, 5 triples, and 4 homers. Drysdale off of the stretch to the pitch. Swung on. There's a liner in the center field. Base hit Joe up to the second and holds on there. Spangler gets the first hit of the ball game off Don Drysdale. And it brings up little Joe Morgan. So another left-hander to face righty Don Drysdale. And this right-hander has been quite troublesome to the hitters, with all kinds of breaking stuff and a motion that's very difficult to pick the flight of the ball up easily on, and he's got a good fastball. He can mix that in with him, you know, all those breaking stuff. Grody at second, and Spangler at first. Morgan, who has grounded out and flied out, crouches in over that plate in the batting stance. And Drysdale pumps, and he's ready to pitch down to little Joe. A strike call. Morgan has been to about 20 times and has 6 bases on balls. He's looking for his second hit, and he's wrapped the ball very sharply on several occasions. They have swung to right on the defensive infield and outfield. Runners at second and first, 2 down. 0-1 count the pitch. Low. Ball 1 and strike 1. Morgan guards in on that plate. Drysdale with a very fabulous earned run average, especially when you consider the number of innings he has pitched. 2.19 earned run average in 303 and 2/3 innings going in today. Willie Davis is going to get sunshades, I guess. The sun is breaking through now, and all the boys who figure in the sun field wanting the shades because bright sunshine suddenly breaks through here. We've had overcast and some sprinkling, a little bit of precipitation. A no-score battle. Fine pitching with 2 right-handers, Don Drysdale and Bob Bruce. Sunshades are being given to 4 of them. Trzaskowski from short, Nate Oliver at second, center fielder Willie Davis, and the right fielder Darrell Griffith. That was the cause for the little break here. The count is ball 1 and strike 1, and Morgan is back to the plate. Little Joe. Brody the runner at second, and Spangler leads off at first. And here's Drysdale all set now. The stretch. The big right-hander pumps. The pitch down. Morgan takes inside. Ball 2 and strike 1. I like his reflexes, and I know you do too. You've seen him up bat, fans. Those fellows says he's aggressive, and for that reason he might occasionally go for a pitch. Morgan now, waiting as Drysdale comes down with a pitch, and it's swung on, and the roller goes down to the first baseman. Taylor's got it. A little hopper, and he takes for the putout, stepping on first and unassisted putout. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. There was 1 error. And at the end of 6 innings of play, it's Houston nothing and Los Angeles nothing. Well, we've had 6 innings of this ball game gone in the books, and moving to inning number 7, Houston nothing, the Dodgers nothing, and here again is Gene Elston.
Thank you very much now as we move on to the 7th inning. In a real fine ball game out here today, no score. We've had only 3 hits so far. And here's the first pitch to John Roseboro. There's a swing and a miss, and it's strike 1. Roseboro has been up twice, and both times he has flied out. He'll be followed by Ron Fairley and then Nate Oliver. Nobody out, nobody on base. Here's the windup by Bruce. Next pitch into Roseboro, and he takes a strike on the inside corner of the knees, and it's 0-2. Total attendance today is 8,186. 8,186 total crowd, and the official paid is 6,246. 6,246 the paid crowd. Low inside pitch to Roseboro, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bruce now, through 6 innings, has given up only 2 hits, a single by Trzaskowski in the first and a single by Oliver in the second. He has walked only 1, and he has struck out 5 batters. He has also fired a wild pitch. No score, 7th inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Roseboro. Pop-up, foul off the right side. Bond and Grody both coming over for it now. Bond by the dugout. Watch out, Walter. Almost went down in there. He got it. And there's 1 down. So Bond on the top of the dugout reaches in to grab that one, and there's 1 down. So Roseboro has fouled out to first, and here's the first baseman, Ron Fairley. Cardinals beat Pittsburgh 5-0. It was a 6-hit shutout by Roger Craig, and St. Louis is a game out of first. How about that one for a race? Cincinnati first, Philadelphia second, a half out, and the Cardinals a game out. There's a strike to Fairley around the belt. Closing pitcher was Vernon Law, as the Cardinals won their 5th game in a row, 5-0 over Pittsburgh. No home runs in that game. 1 strike on Fairley. He has struck out and was safe on an error. Curve strike. Oh, that was a beauty right in there, and it's 0-2 now. Second baseman Nate Oliver will be up next. This ball game is 0-0. Top of the 7th. 1 out, nobody on base. And a 2-strike count on left-handed batter Ron Fairley. Here's the pitch, fastball. That's popped up down the left field line. Aspromonte in foul territory for it. Shades that sunshine from his eyes. He's got it. And there are 2 men out. So both batters here to open the 7th, Roseboro and Furley, have fouled out. And that will bring up the second baseman, Nate Oliver.
Second baseman, number 29, Nate Oliver.
Oliver has singled and sacrificed. He had an infield hit to shortstop. And then bunted up Furley, who was safe on Bond's error in the 5th inning. Right-handed batter, 2 outs, nobody on base, and Bruce's first pitch is a little bit inside for ball 1, 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. Bruce at one stage today retired 7 batters in a row. And Drysdale, before he gave up a walk to win, had put down 14 consecutive Houston batters. Ball low outside, and then, of course, Spangler got that base hit. The only one off Drysdale so far in the 6th. 2 outs, nobody on base, top of the 7th. And as Lowell mentioned, we're getting sunshine here now at Colt Stadium. Here's the windup and the pitch on the way, and there's a fly ball back into center field. Jimmy Wynn down to the sunshades on this one. He's under it, and he's got it, and that retires the side. Well, that's 7 batters in a row again now that Bruce is retired as Oliver ends the 7th inning by flying to Jimmy Wynn. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Our ball game moves to the last half of the 7th with the score Houston 0, Los Angeles 0.
In every glass of Pearl beer, the grains and hops have to be the best. Ripened in the sun, chosen to measure up to the Pearl beer formula, which has been perfecting now for 75 years and more. Then comes the water. And when you get down to the water, either you have it or you haven't. Pearl beer has it. The best brewing water in this part of the world. Pure spring water from the country of 1,100 springs. The Frio, Medina, Sabinal, and Nueces run swift and bright and then disappear underground into the limestone. Patiently, it filters for 100 miles to the artesian wells at the Pearl Brewery. This water brings out all the flavor of premium grains and hops. You can taste the difference perfect brewing water makes every time you have a cold Pearl beer from the country of 1,100 springs.
Bottom half of the 7th inning now, and Rusty Staub, Walt Bond, and Bob Aspromonte will be leading off here against Don Drysdale. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Colt 45s Baseball Network.
KPRC in Houston.
Drysdale all set to pitch to Staub now. Rusty has popped out and fouled out his first 2 times up here this afternoon, left-handed batter. Drysdale's first pitch to Rusty, high fastball, ball 1. At the end of 3 innings at HOU Stadium, Cincinnati 3, New York 0. Reds won the first game, 4-1. Phillies lost to the Braves 14-8, and the Cardinals defeated Pittsburgh 5-0. Nate Oliver getting some sunglasses at second base. So Cincinnati has gone into first place in the National League by half a game over Philadelphia. And St. Louis is in third place, just a game out. Yankees lost, and Baltimore won today, and the White Sox are winning. So the Yankees lost a game on their American League lead, their first 3 games out in front of Baltimore, and the White Sox appear to be having no trouble with Kansas City today, so they probably will stay 3 games behind, pick up a full game on the Yankees also. Here's the 1-0 pitch now to Rusty, and Staub hits a fly ball to left center field. The left fielder, Tommy Davis, is over for this one, and he hauls it in for the first out. So Staub has flied the left center to open the 7th inning, and that will bring up Houston's first baseman, Walter Bond. Chicago 4, San Francisco 2, with the Cubs batting in the bottom of the 7th. Lowell told you that Ernie Banks had a grand slam. That, incidentally, is the 10th grand slam of Ernie Banks' career. And not too many ball players get into the double figures on those. Number 10 for Banks. And the Cubs won the first game 4-1. Giants losing a lot of valuable ground in the National League today. Walt hits a high pop in the left side. And Dick Trzaskowski, now the third baseman, Bart Shirley, on the outfield grass, 2 down. Awfully lot of pop-outs off of Drysdale today. So Bond is up 3 times without a hit. As he pops out to Bart Shirley, 2 away. And here's Bob Aspromonte. Aspro is 0 for 2. He's grounded out and flied out. Aspro, right-handed batter. No score here in the last half of the 7th inning. Drysdale has given up one hit, a sixth-inning single by Al Spangler, has struck out only one batter today. He caught Bruce looking in the sixth and has given up only one base on balls. Drysdale retired the first 14 men to face him before he walked Wynn in the fifth. He was cut down trying to steal. And then Grody reached on an error by Oliver at second in the sixth. And the same inning, Spangler singled. Aspro looks at a strike up around the letters. And it's strike one. 2 outs and nobody on, seventh inning. Houston and Los Angeles are scoreless. Drysdale throws to Aspro again now, and he swings and misses that one, and Drysdale gets out in front of him with 2 strikes. White Sox 5 and Kansas City 1 at the end of 4 innings of their game. Joe Horland started. Blue Moon Odom started, but was taken out in the second for Kansas City when the White Sox scored 4 runs. Here's the 2-strike pitch to Aspromonte. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out to retire the side. That's the second strikeout for Drysdale. 3 up and 3 down for Houston here in the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. And at the end of 7 innings of play, still no score. The Dodgers nothing, and the Colt 45s nothing.
Pearl beer is brewed with the finest grains and hops. And to be quite honest, any other brewer in America who wanted to could use essentially the same fine ingredients. But when it comes to the all-important ingredient, water, a brewer must use what he has at hand. And that's what gives Pearl beer its unique advantage and its marvelously refreshing quality. For underneath the Pearl Brewery are Pearl's famous artesian wells, whose water comes pure and clear from the country of 1,100 springs.
Let's have a Pearl beer. Pearl's the beer that brings refreshment from the country of 1,100 springs. So let's have a Pearl beer.
A new convenient way to enjoy Pearl is in the glass bottle you don't take back. Cools more beer in less space, and pure glass protects natural beer flavor. Have a cold Pearl beer.
Well, I was just checking here. I think a very interesting note at this stage, since this is the final game that we'll be playing here at Colt Stadium. In 3 years, going into our final game today, the Colt 45s are only 9 games under 500 against National League competition here at Colt Stadium. Houston has won 116 games and has lost 125 in this ballpark. Here's the first pitch now to Bart Shirley, the third baseman, and he takes a strike. We were 76 wins, 85 losses going into this year, and starting this game, we are 40-40 here at Colt Stadium. 1 strike, the count on Shirley. Here's the pitch by Bruce. It's high, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Shirley was safe in the fielder's choice in the second, flied out in the 5th inning to center field. He is 0 for 2. No score and only 3 hits. The Dodgers have picked up 2 of the 3. Shirley leads off 8th inning. He'll be followed by Don Drysdale and then the shortstop, Dick Trzaskowski. Lost 125 in this ballpark. Here's the first pitch now to Bart Shirley, the third baseman, and he takes a strike. We were 76 wins, 85 losses going into this year, and starting this game, we are 40-40 here at Colt Stadium. 1 strike, the count on Shirley. Here's the pitch by Bruce. It's high, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Shirley was safe in the fielder's choice in the second, flied out in the 5th inning to center field. He is 0 for 2. No score and only 3 hits. The Dodgers have picked up 2 of the 3. Shirley leads off 8th inning. He'll be followed by Don Drysdale and then the shortstop, Dick Trzaskowski. A lot of sunshine here now. Bruce rocks back. Here's the windup and the pitch on the way to Shirley. Big chop to shortstop. Casco has it. Throw on to Bond, and there's 1 down. So Shirley opens the 8th. That's the 8th batter in a row now that Bruce is retired as Shirley opens the 8th inning by grounding to Casco. That'll bring up the pitcher, Don Drysdale.
Pitcher number 53, Don Drysdale.
Right-hander John Purdon is loosening up for the Dodgers down the right field line. Youngster. Well, here's Drysdale. He has been on base once. He drew a walk in the 5th. And the first time up, he bounced out to Aspromonte. 1 out, nobody on base, 8th inning. In the American League, final score on the Detroit-Boston game, a 4-hit shutout by Joe Sparma. There's a swing and a miss by Drysdale, strike 1. Sparma has 5-5 for Detroit now. As the Tigers beat Boston 3-0, Bill Montbouquet was the losing pitcher. And Bill Bruton had a home run for the Tigers. Minnesota, Los Angeles is not yet started. 1 strike the count. And here's the pitch by Bruce. Drysdale starts to go, checks it's in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Cincinnati did not score in the 4th. They still lead the Mets 3-0 in that second game with New York batting in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the 2-strike pitch to Drysdale. Slow curve, and he struck him out. Caught the outside corner at the belt. That's the 6th strikeout for Bruce today. 2 away now, and here's the top of the batting order, Dick Tracewski.
Shortstop number 44, Dick Tracewski.
Tracewski has 1 of the 2 hits off Bruce, a first-inning line single to left field. Since then, he has popped to short and was safe on a fielder's choice. 2 outs, nobody on. Outfield is pretty well straight away for this little fellow, and the first pitch is right in there up around the letters for a strike. No score, Dodgers nothing, Colt 45s nothing, 8th inning. Each club has committed an error, and a total of only 3 hits. There's a change, bounce to shortstop. Casco's up with that one knee-high, and he shoots it over to first base to retire the side. 10 straight retired by Bruce now, as Tracewski ends the inning by bouncing out to shortstop. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Our ball game now goes to the bottom of the 8th, with the score Houston nothing and Los Angeles nothing.
36 or 18.
If you're the kind of man who likes a simple life, an outdoor vacation with the kids and the wife, a hunting or a fishing trip, you like that kind of thing. You like the beer from the country of 1100 Springs. Let's have Pearl beer, pearls of beer that brings refreshment from the country of 1100 Springs. So let's have a cold Pearl beer.
Pearl is better beer because it's brewed with famous spring water from the country of 1100 Springs.
Refreshment from the country of 1100 Springs. So let's have a cold Pearl beer.
Bottom of the 8th inning now, and Jim Wynn, Eddie Casco, and Jerry Grody will be facing Don Drysdale. No score. Those of you who may have joined us late, quick recap here. Final scores: Milwaukee 14, Philadelphia 8. First game final, Cincinnati 4, New York 1. And after 3.5 innings of the second game at Shea Stadium, Reds 3, Mets nothing. And St. Louis defeated Pittsburgh 5-0. The Giants lost their first game to Chicago 4-1, and they're losing the second game. Here's Jim Wynn. Flied to left and drew a base on balls. He is 0 for 1 officially. Drysdale has given up only 1 hit, a 6th inning single to Al Spangler. Here's Drysdale's first pitch to Wynn, a right-handed batter, and he takes a strike up around the letters, strike 1. Nobody out, nobody on base. Danny Coombs starting to loosen up a bit for Houston down the left field line. Now the pitch to Wynn. There's a ball low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, after Cincinnati finishes their game at New York this afternoon, the Phillies and Cincinnati each will have only 5 games remaining to play this year, while St. Louis will have 6 on the schedule. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Wynn now. Jimmy swings and fouls another one off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Phillies will move on the road now. They have played their final game at home during the regular season. They will move into St. Louis tomorrow. They have 3 games at St. Louis, and then finish the season with 2 games at Cincinnati. And that next weekend possibly could be the decider in the National League pennant race. The Reds also, as I mentioned, have 5 games to play, and all 5 of Cincinnati's remaining games will be at home. They play 3 against Pittsburgh and the 2 against the Phillies. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Wynn. He got him on that one. He checked his swing, called strike up around the letters. Wynn has been called out on strikes, and that is the 3rd strikeout by Drysdale, 1 away. Here's Eddie Casco. Now the Cardinals, of course, are only a game out, and they will play all 6 of their remaining games at home. They have 3 games against the Phillies, and then they'll wrap up the season with 3 games at home against the New York Mets. Here's Casco. Both times he's been up, he has bounced to shortstop. No score in this ball game, bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch by Drysdale. Casco hits a bouncing foul ball down by Jim Busby at third. And a strike one. Left-hander Jim Brewer loosening up a bit also down the right field line for the Dodgers now. 1 out, nobody on base. Casco the batter, and Jerry Grote will be up next. Here's Drysdale's next pitch, Daddy. Takes a little bit too high, and it's ball 1 and strike 1. 1-1 count. White Sox still lead Kansas City 5-1 at the end of 4 innings. Yankees won today, or rather got beat today. Washington beat the Yankees in 11 innings, 3-2, and Baltimore beat Cleveland 4-0. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A little bit inside above the knees to Casco, and it's ball 2 and strike 1. 1 out. Wynn has opened the 8th by striking out. And a ball 2, strike 1 count on Eddie Casco. 45s will be idle tomorrow, but we'll be back in action on Tuesday night in San Francisco, opening a 3-game set against the Giants, and then wrap it up next weekend at Dodger Stadium against these same Dodgers. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Casco hits a foul ball in front of Busby down the left field line, and the count moves to 2 balls, 2 strikes. On Tuesday night, we will be on the air at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. 9 o'clock Central Standard Time Tuesday night for the first of the Giant series at Candlestick. Ball 2, strike 2 on Casco. Grote in the on-deck circle off the left side. This ball game is 0-0, 8th inning. Outfield shaded just a bit around the left side for Casco. There's a high pop off the right side. Fairley and Oliver and Griffith all charging the ball, and no one can get it. It goes up into the box seats. Hit in the first row alongside the Los Angeles bullpen. And it's ball 2 and strike 2. So Drysdale gets himself a new baseball. 45s have had 3 base runners in this ball game. Wynn walked, Grote safe on an error, and a single by Spangler. And Drysdale throws the 2-2 to Casco. He struck him out too. So Casco goes down swinging, and that's 3 strikeouts in a row for Drysdale, and his 4th of the ball game. Prior to the 7th inning, he had struck out only Bruce. So with 2 down, here's Grote. Jerry's been up twice without a hit, reached base in the 6th on an error on the second baseman, Nate Oliver. The Mets did not score in the bottom of the 4th inning. Cincinnati 3, New York 0 after 4 innings of their second game. And Drysdale's first pitch to Grote, and Jerry takes a strike up around the letter, strike 1. Wind is coming in from center field now, left center field toward the plate. Pretty good clip at the present time. Here's the pitch on the way again, and Grote goes for Drysdale's fastball, and Drysdale evidently got something in his eye just as he delivered the ball. And he appears to be all right. Probably the perspiration dropped down in his eyes just as he delivered that ball. But he's out in front of Grote, 2 strikes. Only 3 hits in this game. Spangler for Houston, Trzaskowski and Oliver for Los Angeles. It's 0-0. 2 strikes now in Grote. Here's Drysdale's windup in the pitch now. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. He struck out the side. 4 strikeouts in a row for Drysdale. That's number 5. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We go now to the first half of the 9th inning with the score Los Angeles 0 and Houston 0.
We know a lot of you fans are enjoying the convenience of the Colt 45s Dreamliner buses to Colt Stadium. In the event some of you are not familiar with this feature, the round-trip fare is just 75 cents. These are the locations of the starting points. In the Lyons Avenue area, the south parking lot of Weingarten Store number 23 at Lyons and Shotwell Streets. The bus leaves at 6:25 p.m. North Houston area, North Line Shopping Center, main entrance and mall. Bus leaves at 6:25. East End area, Gulf Gate Shopping Center, the parking lot in front of the Piccadilly Cafeteria. The bus leaves at 6:25. Scott Street area, Hankey Store number 62 parking lot at the intersection of OST and Scott Street. This bus leaves at 6:35 p.m. All these buses return to the starting locations immediately after each game. Once again, just 75 cents round trip. All buses leave approximately 1 hour before game time. So ride the Colt 45's Dreamliner buses to Colt Stadium.
Griffith has struck out twice, his first 2 times up, and in the 6th inning he grounded out to second base.
Number 26, Darrell Griffin.
Right-hander Jim Owens is going to start loosening up for Houston now down the left field line as we start the 9th. Bruce has given up 2 hits, struck out 6, and has walked 1. Outfield shifts around the right side for Griffith. Wind coming in from center field and almost continuous sunshine here now. Here's the windup by Bruce, and the first pitch into Griffith, and he taps a foul in front of Pete Reeser, who's coaching down to third. Rolls on down to the Houston bullpen, and it's strike 1. Willie Davis in the on-deck circle. Dodgers and the Colt 45s are 0-0. Bob Bruce and Don Drysdale. Here's the pitch on the way to Griffith now. There's a ground ball off the right side. Morgan comes in fast on this one. He'll have to hurry, and just did get him. On a very slow hit ball, Griffith was shying away from that for some reason. It evidently was high and inside, and he was leaning back, and he accidentally hit the ball to second base, and Morgan came in to make the pickup, and they just got him at first base. So Griffith has rolled out, Morgan to Bond, 1 out, 9th inning. That's the 11th in a row now that Bruce has retired since he walked Drysdale in the 5th, and now here's Willie Davis. He's been up 3 times without a hit and has struck out twice. Here's Bruce's pitch to Willie Davis. There's a foul ball. That's going into the seats down the first base side, and it's strike 1. 1 strike on Willie Davis. Tommy Davis will be up next. Bruce looks over his sign from Jerry Grody. Here's the pitch now. There's a high fly ball. Pop-up back into right center field. Morgan is back for this one now. Joe's calling everyone off, but now the center fielder, Jim Wynn, moves in behind him to make the catch. Morgan all set to grab it, and then Wynn called him off of it. And they're 2 down. So Willie Davis flies to center. 2 outs, and now here's the left fielder for the Dodgers, Tommy Davis. He's been up 3 times without a hit. Safe on a fielder's choice, and the last 2 times has flied out to right field and to center field. No score, 9th inning. And a right-handed batter, Tommy Davis, in to face Bruce. Bob rocks back now, and here's the first pitch into Tommy Davis. He takes a strike on the outside corner at the bell to strike 1. Well, we hope that you fans have a good supply of Pearl beer on hand for this afternoon's game, and a reminder to enjoy Pearl often from the country of 1100 Springs. Bob takes a double pump out there this time to Tommy Davis, and the pitch, a slow curveball, line drive down the left field line. It'll be in there for extra bases. Spangler coming fast, Davis on his way to second, and Spangler's throw will not be in time. It's a double. So Tommy Davis, with 2 outs in the 9th, is doubled over third for his 19th 2-base hit of the year. And the Dodgers are threatening now with 2 outs, and the catcher, John Roseboro, coming up. That's the 3rd hit off Bruce. Roseboro is 0 for 3. That's the first hit off Bruce since Oliver singled in the infield with 2 outs in the 2nd. Oh, Tommy Davis takes his lead off second base. Roseboro, left-handed batter. Ground ball to Morgan's left. Joe over fourth. Falls down. Here comes Tommy Davis in to score. The play at the plate is in time. They got it. Tommy Davis is cut down at the plate by Joe Morgan to Brody on a play that will not ever be any closer than that one. The ball was hit to Morgan going to his left. He slipped on the wet grass, picked himself up, fired to Grody, and got him to retire the side. So it'll be an error on Joe Morgan, but he recovered in time to get the big play at the plate as Roseboro was safe at first base. And Davis was cut down, Joe Morgan to Jerry Grody. And in the 9th, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man was left on base. And we go now to the bottom of the 9th inning, and this ball game is still 0-0. Well, there was a thriller for you, and you got this late in the ball game, and everything hinged right on that one. So So the 45s will be coming up here now in the bottom of the ninth inning with Bob Bruce, Al Spangler, and Joe Morgan. Well, the lead batter here will be pitcher Bob Bruce with no score last half of the ninth. Here comes Bob out now. He's pitched a mighty fine ball game again. Bob, incidentally, Bruce has not given up a run now in 18 innings. He has pitched a shutout through 9 today, and his last time out, he shut out the New York Mets. So he has not given up a run in 18 innings. Here's the first pitch by Drysdale. And Bob singles into right center field, may go for 2. Nope, you'll have to hold with a single as Willie Davis makes the pickup. Bruce singles into right center field to open the ninth inning. That's only the second hit off Drysdale. Well, there's the big one on now if we can get him around. Here's Spangler. Al had the only other hit off Drysdale in the 6th and has grounded out and popped out the other 2 times. So we're going to have a little conference on the mound now as Drysdale, Roseboro, Shirley, and Fairley all get together now on the hill to decide what kind of strategy they're going to use here now. Now, see what Houston does here, whether or not they'll be bunting Bruce, the pitcher, up to second base, or whether Al will be swinging away. Now, in order to make sure they get straight on everything, Spangler's having a few words with the third base coach, Jim Busby. So Bruce is on first. Keep in mind now that Bruce is not too fast, although he doesn't move too slowly, but we'll see whether or not they call for the sacrifice. Joe Morgan will be up next. Runner on first, nobody out. Score 0-0, bottom of the ninth inning. Here's the stretch now. Look over to first base. And here's the pitch on the way. Spangler swings away and he pops it into right field. Wes Parker coming on for this one now. He makes the play on it, 1 down. So the bunt was not on as Spangler flies to right field, 1 away. That'll bring up Joe Morgan now with Bruce still on first base and 1 out. 0-0. We're in the bottom of the ninth.
Number 35, Joe Morgan.
Well, this ball game today is a complete reversal of our opening game here in 1962. This is a 0-0 game in the ninth inning. And the first one was 11-2 when the 45s beat Chicago. Here's Morgan. He's 0 for 3. Little left-handed batter, and Bruce with a very short lead off first base. Morgan checked in time. He started to go on a low inside pitch, ball 1. Bruce singled into right center field to start the ninth. And Spangler is fly to right field. Rusty Staub will be up next. 1 ball, no strikes on Morgan, and Drysdale throws again, and Morgan swings, and he misses that one. Just got a piece of it. Foul ball right at Roseboro's feet, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Chicago still leading Kansas City 5-0 with the A's batting in the bottom of the 6th. Parker fairly well back out in right field. Bruce very short off first base. Here's the pitch. Morgan swings at a fastball, and it's 0-2. 2 strikes now on Morgan. Drysdale has allowed 2 hits. Bruce has given up 3. And Morgan behind on Drysdale here now with 1 out. Bruce at first, ninth inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Drysdale back up on that rubber again now. Here's the pitch on the way, and there's a tap foul. Bounces into the Houston dugout back at third. And the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. No game tomorrow. We'll be with you on Tuesday night from Candlestick Park, San Francisco, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, with the first of 3 games against the Giants and the start of our final week of the 1964 season. Morgan back in again now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the stretch by Drysdale. Bruce still stays close to first base, fairly holding up against him. High outside fastball to Morgan, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 count. Bruce singled to right center field. Spangler flied to right field for the first out. And Morgan will be followed by Rusty Staub. Houston nothing and Los Angeles nothing. Last half of the ninth inning. Here's the 2-2 stretch by Drysdale. Morgan hits one to the right side. Way back is Oliver, and no one's covering first, and he beat it out. Base hit. Bill Morgan laid down a base hit as Drysdale was a little bit late getting to first. The ball was hit way over by the foul line, and Oliver went over and fairly thought he had a chance to play the ball, so he left first base. That left it open for enough time. As Drysdale was just a little bit behind Morgan, who's very fast, he took the throw from Oliver, but too late. It's an infield hit. Bruce has been moved to second base. The 45s have runners on first and second with one out. Here's Rusty Staub, and let's pause here now for station identification. This is the Colt 45. Smokey Alston is coming to the mound now, and we may just have Ron Perinoski. I don't know what Smokey's feelings would be here now with the winning run on second and one out and a left-handed batter coming up. But he does have Perinoski warmed up in the bullpen. Drysdale has pitched himself a 3-hit shutout through 8 1/3 innings. And it appears that Alston is going to stay with his right-hander Drysdale. So, big deal, stay on. Only one out, and the winning run is on second base. Keep in mind now that it's Bruce running at second. So in order to get a run in here, it'll take a pretty good solid base hit here by Staub. Drysdale is ready in the stretch. First pitch to Rusty. Takes it high and outside, ball 1-0. Walt Bond will be up next. Bruce at second, Morgan at first, one out. Dodger infield, of course, a double play depth there. And the score 0-0, and the hits are all even now at 3 apiece. As Bruce is single and Morgan is beaten out an infield hit to second. Outfield deep and around the right side. Arms down by Drysdale. Here's the pitch. Rusty looks at a fast strike on the inside corner of the knees, and it's ball 1 and strike 1. The Mets have just scored in that second game, and at the end of 5, Cincinnati 3, New York 1. And at the end of 6 innings in the American League, White Sox 5, Kansas City 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 men on, 1 out, last of the 9th inning. Good solid base hit here now. Could wrap it up out here for today. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Staub. Drysdale peers in to get his sign. Not too big a lead by Bruce off second base. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, second base, double play ball. Oliver goes to shortstop, out, throw to first, double play to retire the side. That's what the Dodgers were looking for, and they got it. As Morgan is out at second base, Oliver going to Trzaskowski, and the relay over to first base ends the 9th inning, and we go into extra innings out here today. In the 9th inning, no runs on 2 hits. There were no errors with 1 man left on base. And our ball game now moves to the 10th with the score Houston 0 and Los Angeles 0.
Refreshment from the country of 1100 Springs. 1100 Springs. Rushing cold and clear, give pure refreshment to Colt Pearl Beer.
You'll miss Pearl if you go someplace where you can't get it. You'll miss Pearl's flavor and character. You'll know Pearl is better beer because it's brewed with famous spring water from the country of 1100 Springs.
Let's have some Pearl beer. From the country of 1100 Springs. So let's have a Colt Pearl beer.
First half of the 10th inning here at Colt Stadium, 0-0. Well, this is the first extra inning game of the year between these two ball clubs, and this is only the second time this season that the 45s have gone into extra innings here at home. All the other extra inning games have been on the road. 45s have won 3 and lost 5 in the extra inning column so far this season. The only other home game that we had in extra innings was an 8-7 10-inning victory over the St. Louis Cardinals back on August the 19th. Ron Fairley will lead off. He'll be followed by Nate Oliver and then Bart Shirley here in the top of the 10th inning and no score.
Here's the first baseman, number 6.
Well, the Cubs defeated the Giants twice today, and that just about could do it for San Francisco. 4-2 second game. Cal Kuntz won it, and Bob Bolen was the losing pitcher for the Giants. Fairley takes it high and outside, ball 1. The only home run was a grand slam by Ernie Banks. So a double loss by the Giants, 4-1, 4-2 for the Cubs. Nate Oliver will be up next. Fairley has struck out, safe on an error, and fouled out. He is officially 0 for 3 today. Here's the pitch on the way now. Swinging a foul ball, a hopper back toward the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bob Bruce and Don Drysdale now in extra innings. And we have a double shutout going. Ron Fairley, first baseman, left-handed batter. Bruce has given up 3 hits, struck out 6, and has walked 1 today. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Fairley. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 2-strike count now. Milwaukee beat Philadelphia 14-8. Reds beat the Mets 4-1 in the first game, and they're leading New York 3-1 at the end of 5 in the second game. And the Cardinals defeated Pittsburgh 5-0. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Fairley. A little bit low outside. Yankees lost to Washington in 11 innings 3-2. Baltimore beat Cleveland 4-0. And the White Sox lead Kansas City 5-1 at the end of 6. Yanks lead has been trimmed to 3 games, and Cincinnati leads the National League now by a half. Ball 2, strike 2. Here's the pitch to Fairley. Swinging a ground ball right side, deep back over. Bond gets it, flips to Bruce at first base for the out. So Ron Fairley hops 1 down the first base side to Walt Bond. That'll bring up the second baseman for Los Angeles, Nate Oliver. Oliver has had 1 hit, an infield hit in the second inning, 1 of the 3 off Bruce, sacrificed and flied out. He is 1 for 2 today officially. Oliver bats right. Down in the bullpen for Houston, right-hander Jim Owens and left-hander Hal Woodishik are cranking up now. And Ron Peronowski is back up throwing again for the Dodgers. Alston will have him warming up again now in case he reaches the point here where he may want to use a pinch hitter for Drysdale in the 10th inning. Bruce takes a lot of time out there in the mound. 1 out, nobody on base. Here's the windup and the first pitch to Oliver, and there's a hard hit ground ball to short. Casco up with it, throw to first, got him. Well, he really stung that one pretty good. Hard hit ground ball to short. And Casco on over to Walt Bond, 2 away. Here's Bart Shirley, the Dodger third baseman.
Number 23.
0 for 3 today, bats right. Dodgers nothing, Colt 45s nothing. The pitch to Shirley, swing and a miss, fastball. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 count. Two outs as Fairley and Oliver have both grounded out. Bruce checks over his sign again from Jerry Grody. Here's the windup and the pitch on the way now. That's a high one. He was slip pitch evidently. Slow curveball. Seemed to slip away from him. Ball 2 and strike 1. 2-1 count. Ball 2 and strike 1. 2 outs, nobody on, top of the 10th, and this is 0-0. Dodgers and the Colt 45s. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Shirley. Fastball low outside, and it's 3-1. 3 ball, 1 strike count. So Bruce gets behind on Shirley now. Time called, and Grody is going out to talk to Bruce. Should Shirley get on, Drysdale is due to bat next. And And now here comes Frank Howard out, and Howard evidently is coming on as a pinch batter with a 3-1 count on Shirley. Alston is making a pinch hitting change right here. Oh, Bart Shirley is being lifted for a pinch batter with a 3-1 count.
Number 25, Frank Howard.
On Bart Shirley, with 2 outs and nobody on base. Howard, a right-handed batter. He's hitting .230. 69 runs batted in, 24 home runs. First pitch popped up. Back in the left center field. It could drop. Casco going out, and he got it with his back to the infield to retire the side. On the first pitch to Howard, who came in with a 3-1 count to bat for Shirley, he seemed to be checking his swing on that one. And he popped up the left center field, and Casco went way out with his back to the infield and hauled it in to retire the side. Top of the 10th is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. And the score is still 0-0, as the 45s come in here last of the 10th inning. Say, all you cigarette smokers, have you ever tasted fine tobacco at its best? Well, you have if you've ever smoked the Lucky Strike. You see, every Lucky is blended with fine tobacco from one end of that cigarette to the other. You know what LSMFT stands for. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Well, that means great taste. So why not do this? Taste fine tobacco at its best. Just look for the pack with the big red bullseye. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Fine tobacco at its best. The taste that millions like. Great taste was born the day they made this famous Lucky blend. And it's a fact, each Lucky's packed with fine tobacco. And to win, taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Here's a later score now on Cincinnati, New York at the end of 6 innings. In their second game, the Reds 3, Mets 1 at the end of 6. And the White Sox did not score in the 7th inning at Kansas City, but they still lead the A's 5-1. Jim Gilliam is now playing third, replacing Bart Shirley, who was lifted for a pinch batter. And Walt Bond will lead off for Houston. He'll be followed by Bob Aspromonte and then Jimmy Wynn.
The first baseman, number 23, Walt Bond.
Now, Walter has not had a hit. He has been up 3 times. Very few people have had hits out here today. We've had only a total of 6 hits. 3 off Bruce and 3 off Drysdale. Walt has popped up twice and grounded out. So Bond, the left-handed batter, facing Drysdale, bottom half of the 10th inning. Ball, it's outside, ball 1. 1-0. Aspromonte moves into the on-deck circle off the left side. 1 ball, no strikes. No score, bottom of the 10th. Drysdale gets a sign again now from John Roseborough. Here's the pitch on the way, and Bond hits a foul up in the seats off the left side. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 count. Nobody out, nobody on base. Left-handed batter Bond, 1-1 count. Here's the windup and the pitch now, and Bond takes a high outside pitch. This is not the first time that Houston has gone through 9 innings of a 0-0 game. You may recall back in 1962. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Ball high and outside, 3-1 on Bond. Back in 1962, Houston and Cincinnati went 12 innings of scoreless baseball here at Colt Stadium before Johnny Clipstein hit a home run in the 13th to win it, 1-0. It was Farrell who pitched 12 consecutive innings, a shutout ball that night against the Reds. Ball 4, and Bond is on to open the 10th. Well, that's only the second base on balls given up by Drysdale.
Number 14, the third baseman, Bob Aspromonte.
First walk was to Jimmy Wynn in the 5th. So for the second inning in a row now, the Colt 45s have their lead man on, and here's Bob Aspromonte. Aspro is looking for his first hit. He is 0 for 3. Runner on first base is Bond. Ron Fairley holds up against him. Here's the stretch now. And Drysdale throws to Aspro, and he's going to bunt that ball. He took it inside for ball 1. 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Here's the stretch again by Drysdale. Now, not too big a lead by Bond off first. Aspro bunts a foul down the first base side. 1 ball and 1 strike. A base on balls to Bond to open the bottom of the 10th with the score 0-0. And Aspromonte now trying to get a bunt down. Jim Wynn will be up next. Drysdale through 9 innings has allowed 3 hits, struck out 5, walked 2. Has a sign again now. Short lead again by Bond off first base. There's a throw over there. Fairley takes the throw but doesn't put the tag on Bond. Drysdale trying to hold the Houston first baseman close to the bag. 1 ball, 1 strike on Aspromonte, a right-handed batter. Here's the pitch on the way, and Aspro swings away on that one. The bunt sign was removed, and he bounces a foul ball, and the seat's back at third, and he's behind on Drysdale now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 count. Bob Miller, a right-hander, has joined Ron Perinoski in the bullpen for the Dodgers down the right field line. 1-2 count on Aspromonte with Jim Wynn up next. Drysdale checks his sign again, watches Bond on first, arms down. Here's the pitch to Aspro, very high fastball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 count. After 6 innings at New York, Reds 3, Mets 1. Cincinnati trying to win their 9th game in a row. They have already taken the opener 4-1 from New York, while the Phillies were losing. Drysdale takes a bit of time out there in the mound now. He's after that Rosenbach. Ball 2, strike 2. Bond has walked to open the 10th, and it's a 2-2 count on Aspromonte. To win it, 1-0. It was Farrell who pitched 12 consecutive innings, a shutout ball that night against the Reds. Ball 4, and Bond is on to open the 10th. Well, that's only the second base on balls given up by Drysdale.
Number 14, the third baseman, Bob Aspromonte.
First walk was to Jimmy Wynn in the 5th. So for the second inning in a row now, the Colt 45s have their lead man on, and here's Bob Aspromonte. Aspro is looking for his first hit. He is 0 for 3. Runner on first base is Bond. Ron Fairley holds up against him. Here's the stretch now. And Drysdale throws to Aspro, and he's going to bunt that ball. He took it inside for ball 1. 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Here's the stretch again by Drysdale now. Not too big a lead by Bond off first. Aspro bunts a foul down the first base side. 1 ball and 1 strike. A base on balls to Bond to open the bottom of the 10th with the score 0-0. And Aspromonte now trying to get a bunt down. Jim Wynn will be up next. Drysdale through 9 innings has allowed 3 hits, struck out 5, walked 2. Has a sign again now. Short lead again by Bond off first base. There's a throw over there. Fairley takes the throw but doesn't put the tag on Bond. Drysdale trying to hold the Houston first baseman close to the bag. 1 ball, 1 strike on Aspromonte, a right-handed batter. Here's the pitch on the way, and Aspro swings away on that one. The bunt sign was removed, and he bounces a foul ball, and the seat's back at third, and he's behind on Drysdale now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 count. Bob Miller, a right-hander, has joined Ron Perinoski in the bullpen for the Dodgers down the right field line. 1-2 count on Aspromonte with Jim Wynn up next. Drysdale checks his sign again, watches Bond on first, arms down. Here's the pitch to Aspro, very high fastball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 count. After 6 innings at New York, Reds 3, Mets 1. Cincinnati trying to win their 9th game in a row. They have already taken the opener 4-1 from New York, while the Phillies were losing. Drysdale takes a bit of time out there in the mound now. He's after that Rosenbach. Ball 2, strike 2. Bond has walked to open the 10th, and it's a 2-2 count on Aspromonte. There is nobody out. Arms down by Drysdale. Here's the pitch to Aspro. There's a high pop in the infield. And the first baseman, Ron Fairley, right in front of the bag, has got it, and there's 1 down. So Aspromonte has popped to first. Bond holds at first base, of course, and here's Jimmy Wynn. Wynn has been on base once. In the 5th inning, he drew a base on balls. And also has struck out. Officially, he is 1 for 2. Fairley out talking to Drysdale now. .45s have had runners in scoring position in the 6th and in the 9th innings. And now they have Bond on first with 1 out in the 10th. And the batter, right-handed hitter, Jimmy Wynn, and Drysdale's first pitch, he got him on that one. Low outside pitch. And he got Wynn to bite on it, and it's 1 strike. Dodgers had runners in scoring position in the 5th inning and in the 9th. Here's the stretch now. Pitch on the way. Foul ball. That's off Roseborough's mask off the right side of the plate, and Wynn gets behind on Drysdale. 2 strikes. Now Eddie Casco will be up next. 0-2 count. Bond at first, 1 out. Score 0-0. New baseball now for Drysdale. Morgan and Bruce singled in the 9th inning, and they picked up the 2nd and 3rd hits off Drysdale today. And there have been 3 hits off Bob Bruce. Here's the stretch now. Look over to first base. And there's a strike on the outside corner at the belt. Wynn has been called out on strikes. That's the 2nd time in a row that Wynn has struck out. He struck out looking also in the 8th inning.
Shortstop, number 11.
And that's the 6th strikeout for Drysdale, and each pitcher now has struck out 6. Here's Casco with 2 outs and Bond on first. Well, Eddie is 0 for 3. He struck out once. The other 2 times he's grounded out to shortstop. Last of the 10th, 0-0. Drysdale now is motioning for Wes Parker, his right fielder, to come in a bit for Casco. Got a wind coming in from left center field toward the plate. Bond edges away from Fairley at first base, and the first pitch to Casco is a pop-up back into shallow center field. Trzaskowski going out for this one. Now the second baseman, Nate Oliver, makes the play on it, and that retires the side. So Bond, who walked to open the inning, is stranded on first base. That's all for Houston, 10th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. And we move to the 11th inning now. The score is still Los Angeles 0 and Houston 0.
7-7-7 reported.
The life of the party.
You'll be the belle of the ball.
When friends drop in, just watch them grin. When you tell them one and all, let's have a Pearl beer. Pearl's the beer that brings refreshment from the country of 1100 Springs. So let's have a Pearl beer. Serve us that Pearl beer. Let's have a cold Pearl beer.
Famous spring water makes Pearl satisfy you more when you want beer. Pearl is better beer because it's brewed with famous spring water from the country of 1100 Springs.
Let's have a cold Pearl beer.
Don Drysdale is going to be lifted here, and Maury Wills is coming on to bat for him in the 11th inning. And let's see who's coming in. I think it's Bob Miller will be on to pitch the bottom half of the 11th inning for Los Angeles. He has finished his warm-ups and is coming into the dugout back at first. So Drysdale is all through for the afternoon, and another real fine pitching job by the giant right-hander for the Dodgers.
Number 30, Maury Wills.
Here's Wills, switch hitter. He'll be batting left-handed against Bruce. Wills is hitting .273, 34 runs batted in, and 2 homers. He has 15 doubles and 5 triples. He'll be followed by Dick Tracewski and then Darrell and then Wes Parker. First half of the 11th, and there's no score. Here's the windup by Bruce, and the first pitch to Wills, very high ball one. Ron Peronowski is still loosening up for the Dodgers down in right field, and for Houston now. Well, let's see, we're just getting some changes down there, so we'll hold up just a moment. Maury Wills leading off as a pinch batter for Don Drysdale. Bruce's pitch, pop foul, no play, high and up into the seats off the left side. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike, 1-1 count. White Sox did not score in the top of the 8th inning, and the A's are batting now. Chicago 5 and Kansas City 1. Maury Wills, pinch batting for Drysdale. Aspromonte is on the grass in front of third. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Wills. Fly ball right field. Staub coming on hard for it, digging over near foul territory. Dives, but he couldn't get it. Foul ball. Great try by Rusty. Sproul all over the place out there. That's the second time in the last 2 games that Rusty has dived after a foul ball down the right field line. He just about got that one. He got a glove on it, but he couldn't hold it. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Wills is back in there now here in the 11th inning. Nobody out, nobody on base, no score. With 2 strikes on Wills, Aspromonte is backed up even with third base now. Curveball popped up, foul. Aspromonte coming in for it. Easy play for him, 1 down. Little pop-up on the left side of the plate, taken by Bob Aspromonte. So there's 1 down now, and that will bring up the top of the batting order, Dick Tracewski.
44, Dick Tracewski.
Tracewski has had 1 of the 3 hits off Bruce, a first inning single. He is 1 for 4. Bats right-handed. Outfield shades around the left side for him, and the first pitch is a little bit outside at the knees for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Each club has come up with 3 hits. Bruce checks over his sign again now. Here's the windup and the pitch. There's a fly ball left center field. Wynn comes over for it, and he makes the play. It looked like trouble for just a second, but taken easily in left center field by Jimmy Wynn for the second out. Here is Wes Parker,
The right fielder, number 28.
who replaced Darrell Griffith in right field. This will be his first trip to the plate. Parker is a left-handed batter. Hitting .255, and the first pitch is tapped foul up in the seats off of third, and it's strike 1. Parker is hitting .255. 9 runs batted in. He has 3 homers. Outfield deep and around the right side for Parker with 2 outs, and Bruce's pitch. There's a bunt down the third base line. He's going to beat it out. No throw by Aspromonte. Base hit. So Parker, with Aspromonte playing deep, bunts and beats it out. So the Dodgers have a man on here in the 11th with 2 outs. That's the 4th hit off Bruce.
Center fielder, number
A double by Tommy Davis in the 9th. And a single by Tracewski in the 1st, and an infield hit by Oliver in the 2nd. That is the extent of the hit so far off Bruce. And now the Dodgers have 1 more than Houston, 4-3. Here's Willie Davis, the center fielder. Runner on first base and 2 outs. Willie Davis has been up 4 times without a hit, and twice he has struck out. Parker takes a big lead, draws the throw over there, and he gets back in time. Pretty close play. Well, Parker took a big lead off first base, and Bruce shot it over there, but not in time. No count on Willie Davis. Bruce checks the sign now. Davis, left-handed batter. Parker's on with a bunt hit to third, and Bruce throws it over there again, and he gets back in time. Bruce up in the rubber again now, 2 outs. Here's the stretch and a glance over to first base, and Parker breaks on it. Grote's throw is going to be in time. They got him. Grote to Casco, and Wes Parker is thrown out trying to steal here in the 11th inning to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on. We go to the last of the 11th inning. Still no score in this ball game. Dodgers nothing, Colt 45s nothing. Well, if you're a cigarette smoker, here's a question for you. Have you tried a Lucky lately? If not, just remember this. When you taste a Lucky, you taste fine tobacco at its best. After all, LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and that means great taste. It means when you light up a Lucky, you get rich, full, enjoyable flavor. So have yourself a reunion with a great cigarette. Get together with the Red Bullseye and taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Fine tobacco at its best. The taste that millions like. Great taste was born the day they made this famous Lucky blend. And it's a fact, each Lucky's packed with fine tobacco. End to end, taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Last half of the 11th inning, and Ron Perinoski has been called on to pitch for the Dodgers. And before we get underway here in the bottom of the 11th, let's pause for station identification. This is the Colt 45s Baseball Network.
This is KPRC, Radio Houston 95.0. 78 degrees in the patio. Right now, 28 minutes after 4 o'clock.
Leading off for the 45s, the catcher, number 8, Jerry Grote.
Well, we're going on to the 11th inning now, bottom half. And Jerry Grote will lead off for the Colt 45s. Jerry so far today has been up 3 times without a hit. He has struck out 1. So Drysdale is taken out after going 10 innings. And he allowed only 3 hits, struck out 6, and walked 2. And now it's left-hander Ron Perinoski. Here's the windup and the pitch now to Grote, and Jerry takes it high for ball 1. This is the 68th game in which Perinoski has appeared. All have been in relief. In 117 innings, he has allowed 123 hits. Grote hits a foul back in the screen, 1 ball, 1 strike. Earned run average of 315 for Perinoski. In 117 innings, he has struck out 73 and has walked 45. Nobody out, nobody on base, no score. Last of the 11th inning. Perinoski checks over his sign again now. Here's the windup and the pitch on the way now. And there's a high pop foul off the right side. That'll be up into the seats, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 count. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Grote again now. Oh, he changed up on him, and he took it around the knees for a call strike. So Grote has been called out on strikes. That's the 2nd time that Grote has struck out today. And that is the 7th strikeout by Dodger pitching. First one, of course, by Perinoski. Well, let's see what's going to happen here now. Bruce has not come out of the dugout. He is due to bat right now. There's no one warming up for Houston, but relief pitcher, of course, would be ready in a hurry if they decide to pinch hit here. Bruce has gone all the way. Bruce is going to bat for himself. Jim Ewell, I see here through my glasses, is working on Bob's leg here for some reason. I think that's the delay. So Bruce will come out to bat for himself. This as soon as the trainer gets through working on him. third base umpire, Doug Harvey, looking down into the Houston dugout back at third. We can't see with the sun shining on the screen behind the plate exactly what's going on, but Ewell is doing something around Bruce's right leg, I believe. Now Bob's getting up, and he's coming out to hit for himself. So there's one down here in the bottom of the 11th inning with no score in this game. There have been about an equal number of threats by each club. Now the plate umpire, Tony Benson, is walking over that way. I guess he's just going over to get a drink of water. Well, the game is delayed here for just a moment while Bruce gets set to come out here. He's just tying his shoe. I don't know whether they had a new pair of shoes for him or what. Well, quickly here again, the Braves beat the Phillies today 14-8. And Cincinnati is still leading New York in the second game 3-1, with the Mets batting in the bottom of the seventh. Reds won the first game 4-1. St. Louis beat Pittsburgh 5-0. And the Cubs won a doubleheader from San Francisco, 4-1 and 4-2. Over in the American League, Washington beat the Yankees in 11 innings, 3-2. Baltimore beat Cleveland 4-0. And in the bottom half of the ninth inning, Chicago 5 and Kansas City 1, with the A's batting now in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Detroit beat Boston 3-0, and Minnesota-Los Angeles has not yet started. Well, Bruce is out there now. He has one hit. He singled to open the ninth inning, is struck out and grounded out. Here's the pitch on the way, and Bruce hits a chop to the shortstop, Dick Trzeski, an easy tap, and the throw to first base, and 2 men are out. So Bruce is bounced out short to first. That'll bring up the top of the batting order, Al Spangler. He has one of the 3 Houston hits today. He had the first hit of the ball game off Drysdale in the 6th, and it came with 2 outs. Drysdale had retired the first 14 men to face him. So here's Al now with 1 for 4, a single, facing left-hander Ron Peronowski in the 11th inning, no score. 2 outs. Lowell, did you catch that announcement on Bruce?
Yes, Bob came up with a blister on his foot, and he was having a little treatment there and perhaps a little bandage.
So Bruce is grounded out on the first pitch, and now here's Spangler. Gilliam in close at third. Al takes a fast strike up around the letter, strike 1. Still a lot of sunshine out here. No score in the 11th inning. Here's the windup by Peronowski in the pitch, and Spangler takes strike 2. Fastball on the outside corner at the belt, and Spangler gets behind on him, 2 strikes.
Refreshment from the country of 1100 springs. So let's have a cold Pearl beer.
12th inning starting now here at Colt Stadium, and Willie Davis, Tommy Davis, and John Roseborough will be the first 3 batters to face Bob Bruce. This becomes our longest game of the year now for the second time. Back on May the 4th, the Colt 45s battled the San Francisco Giants to 12 innings. That's our longest game prior to today, and now we're starting the 12th here this afternoon. Left-handed batter, Willie Davis. Ground ball to second base. Morgan scoots to his left foot. Easy play to first base to Bond, and there's one down. So Willie Davis starts the 12th by grounding out second to first, and that will bring up the left fielder, Tommy Davis. Time has been called in New York. John Edwards, Cincinnati catcher, has injured his hand. Boy, he's had a tough year today with injuries, and that is not going to help the Reds any. So Edwards has hurt his hand with a foul ball. It did not say in the bulletin whether or not he was removed from the game. He's taken out. He has been taken out. Here's Tommy Davis now. There's a strike on the outside corner of the knee, strike 1. This is the 3rd injury that John Edwards has suffered this season. Hurt his throwing arm early in the season, and the last injury also was to one of his fingers on his throwing hand. Tommy Davis has one of the 4 hits off Bruce. He doubled in the 9th with 2 outs, and he has 1 for 4. 1 out and nobody on base. Bruce's next pitch. Line drive. Great catch by Bond. He speared it. Tommy Davis lines to right, and Bond went way up to spirit. And you have to be 6'6" to do that. And they're 2 down. That'll bring up John Roseboro now as Walt Bond has just speared Tommy Davis' drive headed down the right side. Roseboro is 0 for 4 today, left-handed batter, and Bruce's first pitch. There's a looper to right center field for a base hit. Wynn comes up with it now, and Roseboro will hold on. Well, that's the 5th hit now, or rather the 5th hit off Bruce. And it puts a runner on first with 2 men out. Here's Ron Fairley. He's 0 for 4 today. Has struck out 1. So the Dodgers, with 2 outs, have a man on. This is the 2nd inning in a row now that they have picked up a single with 2 men out. 12th inning. John Roseboro has good speed, is on first base. Bruce takes the stretch now and a glance over to first base. Here's the pitch. There's a ground ball, just foul outside of first. 1 strike. Well, Bruce has gone all the way today, and Drysdale worked 10 innings. Here's the stretch by Bruce now to look over to first. Here's the pitch on the way. There's a ball a little bit outside. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Bob Miller is starting to loosen up again for the Dodgers down the right field line. Foul ball high and up in the seats off the left side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes on left-handed batter Ron Fairley. 12th inning. Houston nothing and Los Angeles nothing. Bruce checks his runner on first. Roseboro has not been taking too big a lead over there. There are 2 men out. Here's the stretch now. And the pitch into Fairley. Very high and outside. Ball 2, strike 2. Here's the latest from New York. Still Cincinnati out in front of the Mets 3-1. That game is at the end of 7 now. Galen Cisco has been taken out, and Bill Wakefield is pitching for the Mets in the 8th. Cincinnati won the first game 4-1. Ball 2, strike 2. Roseboro on first base, 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Fairley again now. Too high. Full count of 3-2. Going to have a runner now at first base for Roseboro. That must be Willie Crawford. I didn't catch his number, but it is Willie Crawford now running at first. Crawford was signed as a $100,000 bonus player, just a kid, 18 years old, and joined the club in June. Quite a few clubs were after him out on the West Coast. Ball 3 and strike 2. Has that big lead off first base. Here's the pitch. He breaks on it. Ball 4. He lost him. Well, that's the second base on balls given up by Bruce. So the Dodgers, with 2 outs, have runners on first and second, and we have a right-handed batter, Nate Oliver, coming up here. We have Owens and Woodashick in the bullpen. And let's see what decision manager Harris will make right here now. And he's going to leave him in. He's going to go with Bruce. So Nate Oliver will come in to hit against him now. Bruce has given up 5 hits and 2 bases on balls now. Here's Oliver. He had an infield hit off Bruce in the 2nd. Officially for the day 1 for 3 and has sacrificed once. Willie Crawford on second base. And Ron Fairley on first with 2 outs. 12th inning, no score. Here is Oliver in the stretch by Bruce. A check on his runner at second base, and the pitch. Ground ball right side. Morgan over for it. Joe's got it. Got him to retire the side. Oliver on the first pitch bounces out to second, and we go to the bottom of the 12th inning. So on the top half for the Dodgers, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 men were left on base. And we go now to the last of the 12th, and there still is no score in this ball game. Dodgers nothing, Colt 45s nothing.
Taste fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Fine tobacco at its best. The taste that millions like. Great Taste was born the day they made this famous Lucky Blend. And
It's a fact, each lucky's packed with fine tobacco, end-to-end tastes fine tobacco at its best. Smoke a Lucky Strike. Smoke a Lucky Strike.
Last half of the 12th inning now, and Joe Morgan will lead off here for the Colt 45s. Rusty Staub will follow, and then Walpon. This is still a 0-0 game. That was the 22nd consecutive scoreless inning of pitching by Bruce, and Bob is just one away from tying our all-time club record of 23 consecutive innings of shutout ball pitched by Turk Farrell in 1962. Well, here's Morgan now to lead off the last of the 12th. Ron Peranoski on the mound for the Dodgers. Ground ball right side. Fairly off the bag, gonna beat it out, base hit. Peranoski didn't cover, and that's 2 in a row that Morgan beat out. Fairly didn't know whether to go after that one or not. He started, stopped, and then went over to pick it up, and by that time it was too late to get Morgan. So that is 2 for 5 for Morgan, and both of his hits he has beaten out just off first base, and the pitcher could not get over to cover on either one of them. Now this is the third inning in our last 4 that the 45s have put the lead man on first. There's the first hit off Peranoski, and hit number 4 for Houston. And Rusty Staub bunts to third. Gilliam up with it. Throw to second base. Out at second, but no throw to first. And Morgan now is a little bit hot about Jocko Conlon's call about Trzaskowski being off the bag on that throw at second base. He had no chance to get back to first, though. Rusty bunted right into the hands of Gilliam. Gilliam couldn't have been more than 20 feet from the plate when he bunted that ball, and he got it down to Trzaskowski for the force out. So now Staub's at first with 1 out on the attempted sacrifice, and here's Walpon. Play went from Jim Gilliam to Dick Trzaskowski for the force on Morgan at second base. Rusty stretches his lead a bit off the southpaw. Now here's the pitch. Walt taps back to Peranoski. He's going to first base, started to go to second, and then elected to go over to Fairley. As Rusty now has been moved up to second, and here's Aspromonte. No sacrifice on that. That was a full swing by Bond. 2 outs. Well, a base hit could do it now, as Rusty's on second base with 2 away. Aspro has not had a hit today. He's 0 for 4. Has struck out once. Last of the 12th inning in a 0-0 game. Oh, they're not going to fool around with Aspromonte. They're going to put him on and pitch to win. Aspromonte is being given an intentional pass, and they'll pitch to Jim Wynn. This will be the first walk off Peranoski and the third given by Dodger pitching today. Put runners on first and second with 2 outs. So Aspromonte is intentionally walked.
Number 24, the center fielder, Jim Wynn.
That's the 7th time this year that Aspro has been put on. Wynn is 0 for 3. The last 2 times up, he has been called out on strikes. Walked once and flied out. He is 0 for 3 officially. Well, let's see how the strategy works here for the Dodgers now. With first base open, they have walked Aspromonte with 2 outs and Staub on second. And here's Jimmy Wynn, a right-handed batter. Wind is still blowing in from left center field. Peranoski checks over his sign now with his catcher, Jeff Torborg. And he gets back up in the rubber again. First pitch into Wynn. Just missed outside at the knees, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Houston nothing. Los Angeles nothing. Last of the 12th. With 2 outs, Rusty Staub at second, Bob Aspromonte at first. And a 1 ball, no strike count on Jim Wynn. Arms down again by Peranoski. Pitch on the way. Ground ball, base hit down the left field line. It's over, and Houston wins 1-0. Jimmy Wynn is singled over third. And the 45s have taken the game 1-0 with Rusty Staub scoring from second base. Bob Bruce is the first one out to grab Wynn. He gives him a big hug. Bruce has just pitched a 12-inning shutout against the Los Angeles Dodgers. His second shutout in a row. And the 22nd consecutive inning of shutout pitching for Bruce. And the 45s, as they started the National League and finished here at Colt Stadium with a win. They defeated the Cubs 11-2 in the first game they played here, and they've defeated the Dodgers here this afternoon. That ball was hit right over third base by Jimmy Wynn. And Jimmy Wynn's 15th run batted in for this season, and it was a big one as Bob Bruce becomes the winningest pitcher in Colt 45 history in a single season as he has chalked up his 16th victory of the year. Well, here are the totals now for this afternoon's ball game. The 45s win by a score of 1-0 in 12 innings. For Houston, 1 run on 5 hits and 2 errors with 6 men left on. And for Los Angeles, no runs, 5 hits, 1 error with 7 men left on. The winning pitcher is Bob Bruce. He has won his 15th game of the year against 9 losses. And the losing pitcher is Ron Peronowski. He now has won 5 and lost 7.